Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Therapy is known to be extremely helpful, but have you ever tried eavesdropping on someone else's problems? Listen to the new podcast, Say More with Dr. Sheila, starring Amy Poehler as the world-renowned self-proclaimed couples therapist.
My mother will come over when she says she will. Knowing that she's always going to be there is really nice for me because I don't have to make my own cereal.
Listen to Say More with Dr. Sheila on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1 exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 18, episode number 3976. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, the Men's Room shout of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack, ring-a-ding-dong.
All right, here we go. Massachusetts DoorDash driver follows the GPS into a pond with delivery of Dunkin' Donuts. A burglar stumbles into a hotel bleeding from attempted break-in. Owner's cuts. A bobcat is stolen in Pittsburgh, goes on a joyride with a 10-year-old kid at the wheel. Florida man climbs on top of rescue vehicle and dancing is his deal. And a Florida woman borrows an alligator for a photo shoot, then leaves it in her bathtub. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, 11 people. 11 people does not sound like a lot of people. And usually it's not. But keep in mind, all things are relative. For example, Nick Cannon has 11 children. Now, all of a sudden, that seems like a lot of people. And as of 2 days ago, Monday, Joe Biden's dog, Commander, has bitten 11 different Secret Service agents. Should be noted, 11 different people have been bitten by this dog in 11 months. That is one person a month being bitten. You know, most people, your dog would be put down by now. I'm just saying. Okay, 25 minutes does not sound like a long time. It's actually the average length of a sitcom, 3 minutes less than the average daily commute time in Seattle. But 25 minutes is a really long time to be stuck upside down on an amusement park ride. And that was the case last Saturday in Canada when there was a malfunction on the old Lumberjack. 45 people spent 25 minutes upside down, 72 feet in the air. And just kind of a sad note to the story, they talked to 2 little kids around the ride. They said their tears kept falling back into their eyes when they were trying to cry. No. I know. I was just like, oh, God. And then I kind of giggled. But good thing, no injuries. But look, today we're talking numbers, like personal numbers that correlate to something important to you. So it could be days sober, Number of broken bones. How many times you've been married or divorced or arrested? We don't know. It's your number. A few more examples. The Hollywood writer's strike lasted for 148 days. That's 32 days less than astronaut Frank Rubio was supposed to be in space. But thanks to a few things going wrong, he spent 371 days in space, which is now the record for the longest U.S. space flight. But be that as it may, he ain't happy about it. No. He wasn't supposed to be up there long, but you're in space. You can't just like open the door and walk home. You know what I'm saying? So 34 years old doesn't seem like a very high age. In fact, that's about the average age of every living person on Earth. Kind of young to be a grandmother, though, but that is the age of Britain's youngest grandmother, 34 years old. Just let it sink in. So today we're talking your personal numbers. Again, days sober, how many times you've been married, how many years you spent in prison, we don't know. And that's what today's question is. What is the number and why is it significant to you?
To be a part of the big show, call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill, 99.9 KISW.
Oh, but tell us, away we go. Welcome to Season 18, episode number 3,976. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat, the exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Steve, I don't know how you pull this off. You find stories in the news of people doing messed up stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's tough to do, man. Very hard.
Bring us 3 of those stories from the news each and every week. It's up to us to determine out of the 3 which one sucks the least. How are we looking this week on Who Sucks Less?
I mean, it depends on your perspective, as it is every week. No one's going to be delighted to hear these stories. One guy in particular, just a horrible person. There's an enterprising woman who, in the end, which she did is not right, but very, very brilliant. And then someone who should probably just do their job a little better, just a wee bit better.
Who Sucks Less is coming up as we do every Monday through Friday. Oh, man, you get more Men's Room exclusively on the Odyssey app. Join us, if you will, for the Men's Room Happy Hour and episode number 470. Coming up today as we'll make some NFL picks for the upcoming weekend. If you don't have the Odyssey app, download it now. It's absolutely free. All of our podcasts are on there. I know there's a new MegaCast on there.
The podcast?
The podcast recorded last night. Of course, our daily podcast is on there. A Greatest Story Never Told. And our weekly Best Of podcast, along with the Men's Room radio channel, which is some of our favorite tunes in one location. Check that all out in one place. We'll see you coming up for the Men's Room Happy Hour and episode number 470. Speaking of episode numbers, we're at episode number 3,976. That would put us 24 shows, including this one away from
4,000. Right?
From 4,000. That's right. Which is, believe it or not, is a big deal to be at the same place for that long of a time. I want to say, when we came over from the Buzz, we started the count over.
We did. We started at number 1 again when we started on KISW.
Can't remember how many we did before that, but either way, we had a handful of shows in there. But either way, officially the 4,000th show here at KISW.
When was 3,000? How many years ago was that? Anyone remember?
No, I don't. What did we do? We didn't really do anything. That was the one where...
2000 is so easy to remember because it's also the day the Seahawks are going to hang the banner.
Yeah, it was their home opener after winning the Super Bowl, right?
Correct.
That's right. Soundgarden played. Ariana Grande.
I forgot
Farrell,
she was there.
I believe, was also...
Pharrell,
yeah.
Arby's
hat guy.
He grew up in a home.
Oh, he did?
He's not Farrell.
Oh, Farrell. Yeah,
right.
That's a good point.
Much different act.
Scratch your eyeballs out, Ted.
He sings and he bites people.
Exactly. So we're close to 4,000. I'll believe it or not, that's pretty close to 19 years that we've been on.
So we started what? Was it late November or early December of 2005?
December of 2005.
Was it December? Okay, so
Correct.
December of 2005. Yeah, it's coming up on, 18 years?
18 years. Okay.
18 years.
There we are. Okay, I've been here that long.
4,000 shows in 18 years.
It takes a long time to get to 4,000.
It really does.
Hopefully we won't mess that up. Speaking of important numbers, Ryan Castle, he celebrates his 20th anniversary here at KISW. The party is this Sunday night at Tony V's in Everett. And he got Saving Abel to play his anniversary party.
We'll see, because it's for him.
Which is kind of a big deal. So we hopefully we'll see you up in Everett on Sunday night to celebrate 20, which is another milestone in radio. If you knew anything about radio, you would understand that being at a radio station for that, not that you aren't in the industry.
You can be in the industry forever, but you're typically, unless you're like the news guy at one of these stations, those guys last a long time.
Legendary guys do.
Right.
Guys who people love for years. But
nobody loves Castle. That's what we're saying.
But it's
someone's so remarkably unpopular and annoying and just degrading and deflating and embarrassing to be a human being. 2 freaking decades. Not bad for a high school dropout.
Sure. Now, those are good numbers. Those are the numbers.
Those are positive.
Those are positive numbers. There's also negative numbers as far as things that gone on in your lifetime. I was saying in the office, look, I'm one of the few people, I have weak ankles, and it's not just one, it's both of them. I'm either sprained or broken my ankles 7 times.
Which is ridiculous.
Before I left my mom's house, she moved out. I was 18 years old. She's like, what do I do with all these crutches? Because we had like
how many sets of crutches?
At least 3 sets of crutches in my home. As far as
why didn't you take them with you?
They just gave them to you when you left the hospital back then.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Crutches and you just kept them.
You should take them with you when you moved out. Going like, look,
I needed
it's going to happen again.
I needed it immediately.
Exactly.
I needed them immediately, and my mom threw them all away.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look, I've had crutches for probably
you're on them,
15, 16 years, and like I can't remember what the hell I did. But anyway, I got the crutches, and they've been sitting in a closet in our house. And I'm like, because people, what do you have these for? I'm like, the future. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
Right.
And I got them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with Miles. I've dislocated my left knee 6 or 7 times. I can't remember.
When's the last time you did it?
Probably like 04, 05.
Pop it back in real quick.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, it got a lot easier to pop it back in. But I mean, the first couple times I did it, like the first time I was playing football, it was awful, right? Like, had to go to the hospital. The second time was at homecoming.
Because you were dancing, right?
Yeah.
When you
can you
just
feel that,
collapse.
like when I do it, can you feel the spring of the ligament, like it's kind of folding over and like it goes pop? Do you have that sensation, or is that?
I usually just collapse.
Oh, I'm saying as far as putting it back in.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You just gotta sit there, fight the pain, and then I think I could do it on my own now, but usually I'd have to get 2 friends, just like, okay,
do it,
just
1, 2, 3.
Push my leg down, and it'll pop back in.
And do it on 2 when someone says 3.
And then the pain shoots through your leg, and you're like, oh my God. And then you get up and you kind of try to walk it out, and it's just, it's a horrible feeling.
Awful.
You can feel it coming on before it happens. At least in my case, I can be like, oh no, they're slipping, it's slipping, oh bam, and it's gone. And I can't stop it.
I mean, it might be more than 7 times. Mine would happen just randomly at some awful spots.
What's a good spot for it to happen? I mean, the dance floor might be my favorite as far as you're literally dancing on the floor and just collapse in a heap, right?
Correct. Still one homecoming king. Here's an example of a bad...
I like how you throw that in. Just side note, still one homecoming king.
Here's a bad example. You're at McDonald's in a drive-thru.
Oh, no.
Getting a giant order because you're 20-some years old and weigh over 300 pounds. You order, but you can't reach your money over.
Yeah.
And then as you're getting back in, it's a tight fit. And as you get into the car, it dislocates.
Oh, no, dude.
Yeah.
Did you drop again?
I didn't. Like, I just, luckily, I
into
sat
the
in the car,
Yeah.
right, and just drove up. And then I think I, leaned my leg out and, popped it back in. But that's pretty embarrassing.
I thought you were going to say, you dropped between your car and the side of the building.
Right? Yeah. Oh. My daughter was born on the 13th of May, my first daughter. And the number 13 is significant, obviously, because it's her birthday, but also because before the age of 2, back to the negative crap, she had 13 surgeries.
God.
Before the age of 2 years old, and that was her last major surgery after that. She had a couple of smaller procedures along the way. Sure. But as far as being that young, it was 13 on the nose as far as all the different operations she had. So
is it like your favorite number or your least favorite number?
At that time, it was my least favorite number, although the day of her birth was
That's what I'm saying. You get torn,
occasion,
right?
Sure.
Like, if that's your birth date, even if it falls on a Friday, right, it matters to you as a parent, you know what I mean, based on the day the kids are born, it matters. But, if you throw in 13 surgeries, okay, I don't love 13.
Well, 9/11 is a terrible day in our history of the country. But if you're born on 9/11, and that is your birthday, that's just something that is also there for you every single year. Now, we always reflect on that
But I feel like
date,
it's different.
But it's your birthday.
But if you're 15, it's more like people have to explain to you why older people might seem a little glum on the day. If you were literally born on 9/11, as we remember 9/11, you still don't have memory of it. I feel worse for the people where it's like, I was 20 years old, man. I've already had this birthday. This is my day, and it's just taken from you.
Yep.
It is gone. They're always remember, and they're like, could you just forget a couple times, for my birthday?
You remember the number. The first dog.
9/11 obviously was stick out.
Sure.
But you're right. There's always going to be certain dates or whatever that just stick in your memory, or just easy to remember ones. I was talking about my buddy Josh. His birthday is February 29th.
Right. You'll never forget that one. Right. When does he do it on the last day of February or the first day of March?
Last day of February.
Okay, because he'll get his actual birthday this coming year, 2024.
I should go back.
And your anniversary.
Yeah, 777.
Yeah, I can't forget that one either.
We weren't trying to do that. We were trying to get married on a Friday night. We liked that idea better than a Saturday. Whatever. It turns out that day was booked at the place that we wanted to get married. So she said, look, we can book you guys the next day on a Saturday. And we're like, F it, let's just get this thing done. We really, really did not give it a thought. And we're about 3 months out from the wedding. And my wife goes, hey, man, we might want to sell our wedding date. I'm like, no, I want to get this done. You know what I mean? And Mike, you can attest to this. When it comes to planning a wedding, that is the only conversation you have from the time that you have proposed until the wedding day. So it's not that you don't love this person, but it's like, I really want to talk about other things. And I said, why would we sell the date? She goes, well, 777. I was like, cool, I won't forget. And she goes, no, like there were people openly bidding thousands of dollars. So if you already had that day booked, there were brides out there. Yeah, I mean, seriously, upwards of $20,000 to buy the date. And I was like, look, man, so we thought about it for a second. I said, honestly, God, money cannot replace how many conversations I have had about this wedding that has not happened yet. So let's get this done. And the other thing I told my wife, I said, look, I won't forget it. Right. I did get a tattoo to my finger just in case I might. But still.
Good idea.
Hell, mine's when I were there. I can't forget it. When you said the question was, I was still 777.
But the thing with 777 is just, it's always the good luck thing. In Vegas, if they're going to show you some stock photo, it's always 3 sevens on the slot machine, so it's supposed to be. But if you got married June 6th the year before, it's 666.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that love that too.
I guarantee there are.
I'm pretty sure I can only remember 2 phone numbers now in my life. I cannot remember the phone number at the house that I grew up in.
I can,
because I very rarely called it. I was calling from there, so it's not that I
can.
It is. I can't remember the area code of West Virginia. There's only one 304.
You can't remember the one area code.
304-296, and then I'm gone. I can't remember, but I can remember my wife's phone number. That's that and my best friend growing up. Those are the 2 numbers that I know, and I know my wife's for one reason. Anytime I go to Walgreens or the Rite Aid or wherever. All the memberships are on her phone number.
All right.
So if you want to get a discount at Walgreens, I put in her phone number and I get the discount.
Oh yeah.
But I remember that phone number. That is one of, other than my friend growing up, Brian Starcher, I know 2 phone numbers. His parents are long passed on. He does not live there anymore. I remember his phone number. That's it.
I know 1 phone number off the top of my head, assuming your name is not attached to it. But the only number I know is my wife's phone number, and mostly because if you try to present me with something important, I don't want to be bothered with it, so I always gave her number.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a good number to reach you. I'm like, if you honestly want to reach me, here's my wife's number. Because if I don't know your number, I'm not picking up the phone.
I know, I know, I mean, nobody lives there anymore, but I know the house number I grew up in. I know my cousins, right? Is my Aunt Barbara and Uncle Tim still live there? I could call them.
How long have they been there?
I mean, as long as I've been alive.
Right. Did you have a sheet by the phone in your house of relatives and friends?
Yes,
and emergency
we did.
Contact numbers. Yeah, we did too.
We did.
So in case something would happen, you had a neighbor's number that was probably going to be home. You had teachers' numbers. You had
teachers' numbers?
Yeah.
I never had a teacher's number.
Yep.
Man,
never had teachers. And then I could still remember Bernie's just because he was one of the first people to get a cell phone.
Ah, right. Of course he was.
My number in Maryland was great. It was 340-5678.
Are you kidding?
No.
Man, you lucked out on that.
I should have kept that number. I mean, now that we know what we know about area codes, it really doesn't matter. But like in your instance where you couldn't get deliveries to your apartment because they wouldn't open the door code and stuff like that. Now that comes into play.
Here's a question about
I like my 206 number.
I still have my Baltimore because look, once something works for me, I'm not ever going to change it until I have to. Right? I'm notorious for that. So. Moved to Seattle. They're like, you want to change your number? I said, do I have to? They said, no. I said, then absolutely not. Look, I remember the number, no big deal. But if I were to call 911, right? Something bad, I just dial 911. Does Seattle 911 get my call, or does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It knows where your phone is.
All right. I just wanted to make sure. I was always wondered if Baltimore or something you can't help me.
You could be in the United States anywhere. Call any emergency.
Yeah, like for instance, there was somebody back when I lived back in Maryland. There was some crazy dude in the street with a knife.
Okay.
So I called 911. But the problem was I was right on a county line. So they we got to switch you over to the other county. So it knows exactly where your cell phone. The area code I don't think matters.
How many times would it take your dog to bite somebody before you decided that maybe this was not the dog that should be around your friends, family, and everything else?
I would say 2 if it's 2 different people and it had no reason to do so. And maybe you slip up once and you get right.
This is an aggressive dog in a bad situation, right?
Yeah. I mean, growing up, I cannot tell you. And granted, when I was growing up, and dogs just roam free in the street. I don't know why. I mean, they had the collars. You kind of knew they belonged to, but some were aggressive. You ride your bike, they chase you down, that kind of thing. But if they hit a second one, I mean, it was goodbye. That dog was gone, man.
And I don't know the protocol now.
I have no idea.
And what the right thing to do is. And obviously, there's obedience training courses and all that. But don't think for 1 minute that the first dog commander who bit his 11th
first dog
Secret Service officer this week, don't think that he doesn't go get training. Don't think that they're not trying to do everything they can to get this dog to behave.
Since October of last year, it's been 11 months. You've bitten 11
It's
people.
been 11 people.
Come on, man.
I'm pretty sure, I knew people that had dogs like that, but they were in cages and they didn't let them out to play with others.
Yeah.
Because they weren't nice dogs.
The 2-year-old German
Commander.
Shepherd bit one of the service's uniformed division police officers on Monday night at the White House, according to a spokesperson who said the female officer was treated at the White House. As we've noted before, the White House can be a stressful environment for family pets, and the First Family continues to work on ways to help Commander handle the often unpredictable nature of the White House grounds, according to a spokesman for Jill Biden. President and First Lady are incredibly grateful to the Secret Service and the executive resident staff for all they do to keep them, their family, and their country safe. I don't disagree with that, except for the fact that you got a crazy-ass dog in the house that's bitten 11 people in a year.
In 1 year.
So, no, you're not.
Anybody else, that dog would be put down or taken away.
That's
or
what
something.
I'm saying.
I'm not saying you got to put that dog down, but that dog should not be in the White House with other people. Does it say if it bites Secret Service members overall or just ones in uniform?
We know that it's bitten 11 people.
Because Tigger never bit anybody unless
they were cop.
No, I think he got sprayed with pepper spray when he was younger dog.
All right.
So you couldn't wear navy blue in the house. He would bite you if you looked like a mailman.
So, okay, look, here's...
that was the trigger.
That was right. And we never knew, because once he bit my cousin on his arm, but he was a Scottish Terrier, so my cousin was just kind of like, what is he doing? But that's how we put it together. And he never reacted that way to anybody. But it got to we just knew. So if you came over to the house, Miles, and you're wearing a navy blue
don't
jacket,
come in.
we'd be like, hey, just take that off.
Okay.
It'll set him off. He'll go wild.
I mean, I would just assume, and I know nothing about how the Secret Service works or presidential detail, but you would imagine that for the most part, you pretty much have the same guys around you. Mm-hmm. I know different guys are going to shuffle in and out, but I would think as far as protecting the president or vice president or whatever, it's roughly the same group of people that trail this guy. So this dog basically is just... And it doesn't matter. It's 11 people.
Now, maybe this dog would be just fine at a dog park and get along with other dogs and run and have fun and play and not be aggressive and be a dog. Or a dog could get into a fight and bite another dog. Either way.
Or he runs past the dogs and bites the people.
It seems to me that this dog needs to be in a place where it is not around a lot of other people, where it just has the
White House is a terrible location.
Like a farm, or, I'm not saying take the dog to the farm, but honest to God.
That kind of farm.
Yeah, but
like the actual ones.
Or just be put into a situation where there's not as many people around if it were to be adopted again.
Would you adopt that dog?
No.
Sarah McLachlan started singing.
Maybe I have
This was the dog in the White House.
Maybe I have German Shepherds.
No,
maybe I know something
I'm not
about
taking
them.
that dog.
Miles would, because he always takes the damaged animals.
If there's something wrong with your animal, Miles will take it.
Here's the difference.
Look, I wouldn't have a German Shepherd, period.
Pick
It's a
your
large
fight.
dog.
Pick your fight against a Scottish Terrier or a German Shepherd. I'm going to take the Scottish Terrier. I think you're putting yourself in grave danger.
For sure.
Just based on the type of dog that you're dealing with here.
I think that's why we keep hearing about it. If it were a Chihuahua, everyone blows it off because you go, well, it's a Chihuahua. They're known for that. It's a German freaking Shepherd, man.
That's a big dog.
Yeah.
Our question, what is the number and why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and friction and reduce wear. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99. Limit supply. See store for details. Get Syntec only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. 99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, talking a little numbers game today. What is the number and why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Somebody here says, a couple of texts here. It says, my name's Logan. I'm 24. My number is 432. That's how many days I have been sober as of today. Shout out to 12.
Nice start. Nice
Good on you. Somebody here says, I have 2 kids with 2 women. Both have the same maiden name. They're not related. Interesting conversation to speak with Child Support Enforcement. Yeah, I can imagine.
Why are you speaking to Child Support Enforcement?
I think we can guess why. Somebody here says 27 today because it's my 9th anniversary. Congratulations. If you're listening, I love you, Razzle. Love the show. Thanks, guys. That from Tom. Tom, you married someone named Razzle? The number. I mean, that's what we're talking about.
Tom and Razzle.
And just so you know,
wouldn't it be great if Tom's last name was Dazzle?
Yeah, I'm Razzle Dazzle. Let's see. The number is 48. That's how long I was in the hospital on bed rest in active labor and contractions off the charts when I had my
days
twins.
Or hours?
I'm gonna
say hours. I think that's 2 days.
48 days.
1 day
labor
per child, right?
Yeah, man. Basically. This number gets me every time. It's 27. On May 27th, 2019, my first kid was born. May of that year was also the year my best friend turned 27. It was also his last birthday as he passed away a few months later. I remember you every day, bro. Much love, always. And then we were talking about phone numbers, right? So you're saying, oh, man, I remember my kid's phone number. Someone here said, or my childhood friend's phone number. Someone here says, call that childhood friend's house number on air, please. Probably a bad idea.
No, there's nobody there. They're all passed on.
Someone here, I like this. They say, I don't know if it helps, but I can remember the Empire carpet number. It's 800-588-2300.
2300.
Call
Empire today.
800-588-2300. All right. And then this one, and this is ridiculous, and I'm going to be dead honest with you. It says, do you know the phone number to the radio station? All right, so we've done almost 4,000 shows, which means I've heard the number to the radio station at least 40,000 times based on how many times you repeat it.
We've changed it a couple times.
And up to 50,000 times. Without looking at my cheat sheet, I have absolutely no idea.
It's 206-803-ROCK.
Let me look. Yep. I look at my cheat sheet. Okay, what does rock spell?
What is it?
Rock.
Spell?
How do you spell rock?
Jesus, sorry. What are the numbers that correlate to rock? Because we get those texts, and I'm like, I don't know.
Spells rock,
But thank you, Ted. 7625.
7625.
You guys know what the number was before we changed it over to the 803 number?
888-421-ROCK?
You got it.
Yeah. Hey, look at the
What was our syndicated number? We were on that deal.
Oh, 844-99-OLA. 884-999-OLA.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I would never remember that.
That's pretty good.
I've been here for 18 years. I don't know the phone number to a show where we ask you to call us.
Mm-hmm. What is the number and why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Matthew. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
All right. My number is 51880 or 1980.
51880. You were born in 1980?
No, that was the year St. Helens blew up. I was 12 years old.
Oh, man. What was the exact date again?
What's that?
What was the date of that again?
5/18/1980.
What proximity were you to Mount St. Helens? I mean, I'm assuming you're in the Pacific Northwest, right?
Yeah, we were close. My baseball coach was actually up fishing up by Spirit Lake. They never found him.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And we got 2 to 3 inches of ash and some pummel stone.
Could you see the cloud, or did it just kind of come over the city? In other words, was it
rolled?
It did. Okay.
Black clouds that rolled it was like carpet unrolling, and there was orange lightning in it as it rolled across the sky and made morning to dark.
And what do they recommend you do? Is it like shelter in place? I mean, what is the advice?
Stay inside, cover your cars with blankets because of the ash would tear up the paint.
And then what about
my dad had a truck and a station wagon that we put blankets and stuff over, and then put masks on and stay inside and don't go out and play in the ash like it was snow.
Well, thank God that Mount St. Helens, all things considered, is not a heavily populated area as far as it being a national park and
right.
all that stuff. I mean, even if you're leaving from I-5 to get there, it's still almost 2 hours by car.
Yeah, most of the people were like day fishermen, and then there was the old guy that lived up there, Harry Truman. He actually he refused to evacuate.
Yeah, we heard his story. Mm-hmm. And just as a child, because I'm living on the East Coast, when I think I was still in upstate New York when this happened, but I vividly remember because I had never, in my mind as a kid, when you talk about active volcanoes, all you picture was Hawaii, right? It was like orange lava spewing out, but never really taking anything out. So it was crazy to me to hear this is not a lava thing. Like this is ash and rock. And I just remember watching the news on this, and then, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days later, and again, this is living on Lake Ontario in Rochester, New York. They kept saying, man, the ash is drifting eastward. And I kind of blew it off as a kid, but sure enough, I mean, nothing like it was here, obviously, but things changed.
I had a vial of it. They were selling it, believe it or not. I mean, you can make a profit at other places. for Mount St. Helens ash because I bought a vial of the ash.
Where did you get it from?
I do not remember now. I
like
don't
mail
remember.
order? Was
I
it
don't
traveling
remember.
salesman?
I don't remember if my grandfather got it for me. I am not sure how I attained
Can you verify that it is Mount St. Helens? Because I'm saying I can take my cigarettes.
You could do the same thing with your dead dog, dude. I could give you ash out of the bottom of the fireplace.
I don't know whose dog is in
really
that box.
know?
I have no
And
idea.
it's like, oh, there's a little piece of wood in there. Yeah, because we had to burn your dog.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you know? How would you know?
Well, but they get you at a time where, you know what I mean? I'm putting my dog down. She's dying on my lap. And I'm the last thing she saw. It's a terrible moment. But as you're going through that moment, that's when they hit you with the sales pitch, right? I mean,
yeah.
Her body is warm. She is on my lap. And here comes, this technician going, hey, we know it's a really difficult time, but for a little extra money, whatever it was, we can give you your dog's remains. And in that moment, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. And then we get this box. I looked at my wife and I'm like, man, I know we were a little emotionally raw at that moment, but like, what do we do with this now?
Oh, you apparently keep it in your closet.
It's in my...
And give it to your kids for Christmas.
One day, I'm actually going to wrap that thing up. Like, she's still dead. It's
Here
still
you
the
go.
dog.
Merry Christmas. What's the number?
I won't, Ted.
And
I'm
why
just
is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
I mean, like, it's going to sound a little morbid. It makes you feel any better. I mean, my brother were having a discussion this morning about my dad.
Oh, yeah. What, cremated him? Or?
Well, we cremated him, and we had the service.
Right.
And then we were planning on having, like, a big ceremony at Arlington, right? And inviting another family that didn't come to the funeral.
Yeah.
This summer just got away from our... He's like, hey, did you remember what today was? I was like, just now that you called me on. I was like, what are we doing with that? And he's like, next June. I'm like, all right.
Are you guys set on this now?
I don't know. Because next June's also my mom's 80th. So I'm like, I can't miss a whole month of June from work. So I'm saying, don't sweat the dog.
Yeah, I'm all right with the dog.
My brother's just got her dad sitting in his house somewhere.
Right.
Where is he in the house?
What's that?
Does he bring him down to watch? Does he bring him down to watch a Maryland football game or anything like that?
No, I swear to God. You know what's funny? When I was back there in June, I didn't even think to ask where it was. But it wasn't. Oh, you know what? It's over his fireplace.
Okay.
So it's just sitting there, and it's not bad.
Yeah,
but. Yeah. I mean, look, now that I'm saying it out loud.
The problem with it is that there's going to be an end to that line. At some point, those ashes are going to get passed down to somebody that didn't know my mom, didn't have any interaction with her. It's like, now what do you do?
I mean, right. Who is the person, you can say it's your great-great-grandfather. Okay, well, chances are this kid, they might see a picture of them, and you can hear about who they were, but like, I don't think I want this, man.
Look, if you go
I
that
would
route,
keep a small, maybe pendant or something with some of my grandma's ashes. But if my Uncle Tim was like, you get Grandma Smith's urn, I'd be like,
well, okay.
I don't want to sound mean, but I don't want it.
But here's my question. So if you're going to go that route, that's the route I've chosen. Well, I pass. I'm going to get cremated.
Can I just light you on fire now?
I think the most important thing, is what is the vessel that you put this in? I know there's boxes, I know there's urns, but I think it would be a little bit more fun to do it in something a little bit more unique or different. Like if you bought like a really nice glass bong and fill that up. Or like if you love mayonnaise, you
loved Hellman's.
Or whatever.
Hey, look, I
if
get
you like
it.
40s of whatever.
But also, you know damn well, like, let's just say I'm watching your house for some reason and watching your adopted German Shepherd. Like, at some point, I'm going to get hammered and be like, dude, empty out that bong. Let's fire it up.
Right. Well,
and then I'll be like, what happened to the bong? I'll be like, it was filthy. We cleaned it and used it.
It was full of me. So it's okay. Like, I'm long gone. I don't care.
I don't know what I would do. Put me on one of my bases. Then just put the base on the stack, because nobody would really know, but when someone inevitably picks it up to noodle around, but by the way, that thing's covered in Thrills ashes.
Mix it with like an epoxy that you pour all over the thing.
That's what I mean. Make it look cool. Yeah. People have to ask you, like, that's a dead man.
I like to be spread over some asphalt. Outside
asphalt?
At a tailgate, outside a Maryland game, maybe a Husky game. I've been to a few of those.
Can't you do something a little more biodegradable, brother? Like,
I'm going to put
the ocean.
We tailgate on the asphalt.
Yeah. I'm going to put it in a sand trap at a golf course just to mess with someone's game a little bit more. This is some fluffy sand. Man, oh man.
Ted, you know what?
Really hard to get out of here.
I'm going to put yours in a koozie. Whatever your vessel, it goes into a koozie.
and a Miller Lite tall boy.
Or just take him to every tailgate that you go to. That's the jar
what
of
I'm saying.
Ted in a koozie over there. Yeah.
It'll be in a red Solo cup. That's his ashes, and then that cup's in the koozie.
Do we sneak it into the game? Like, nah, he just wants to be here at the tailgate.
Can't bring in alcohol. That's a dead person.
Put him in a flask.
What's the number and why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Carrera. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
My birthday 7788.
7788.
Yes, sir.
Is that your significant number?
That's all. Well, 777 is always like a lucky number.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you're close, but you're 7788. So let me ask you this: when it comes to like pin numbers,
It's easy to remember.
it is easy to remember.
All right, I'll give you that.
Okay. But it's stuff like pin numbers and all these frickin' codes that you have to use for everything. Is that one of your main go-tos?
Well, I can't tell you that over the air.
So yes, I'm stealing your debit card. The first thing I'm trying is 7788.
Believe it or not, a lot of people do that.
You bet.
That'd be a good guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I had when it's that obvious.
That's when I graduated high school.
7788?
Well, somewhere in there.
Oh, God, we're talking about cremation. Somebody here says, my dad was divided up between me, my 3 sisters, and his girlfriend in 5 separate chock full of nuts coffee cans.
That was his favorite coffee.
I mean, hey, man, whatever.
People who love their chock full of nuts love their chock full of nuts.
My parents were on that tip for a while, and me and my brother could never stop giggling at it. Because they're like, what is that? My mother's like, it's coffee. Stop being immature. Like, chock full of nuts.
What's the number? Why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
My grandfather, I would have put in a spittoon.
Oh, yeah?
He was that old school. He chewed Levi Garrett and had a spittoon and a nutcracker next to his lazy boy that he sat in all the time.
I'd have to put my grandmother probably in one of those styrofoam wig heads.
All right.
Because she had like a wig for every occasion. Is this fancy or is it not fancy? If it's fancy, she goes for fancy wig. But she probably had like 9 of them, but all of them were on these styrofoam heads.
Yeah.
So I'd put her inside of one of those.
Those things are terrifying. When my sister started getting into like working at a salon and learning stuff, she would always bring home those things, but then she would take the wigs back into work. And some of those heads would you just come home and there'd just be one sitting there. It's like, take it.
Hello, Eddie. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hola.
All right, so my number is 2016. That is the year that I met my wife and the year that the Chicago Cubs won the World Series.
So I'm guessing you love both of those things.
I'm not going to say what order, but yes.
We know what order. Are you still married?
We're still married.
Okay, that's a good sign.
Let me ask you this. What is your wedding date? What is the anniversary?
The anniversary is June 20th, 2020.
All right, now let's be honest, okay? You're a Cubs fan, which means you're a baseball fan. And you still set a wedding date during baseball season. Look, my only stipulation with our wedding date, and you don't want to sound like this guy, but like, it can't be during NFL football season, and not because we get married and teams playing, but inevitably, one of our anniversaries is going to fall on an NFL Sunday, and no offense, I'm not doing anything but watching football.
How many years was it since the Cubs had won a World Series when they won?
It was 108 years.
See, that would be the significant number if I'm a Cubs fan. I know they won the World Series, but the bottom line is it took 108 years to get to that point.
Right. Get back to that point.
Yeah, seriously. Like that to me is the fact that you have a team that's around that long, first of all.
You're right, but I think also once you get past that point, you don't want to talk about that anymore. Because that's all you've talked, right? That's all you've heard for the last 30-some years. Are you from Chicago or just grew up a Cubs fan?
No, I'm from Tucson, but we didn't have a baseball team when I was growing up, and that's where they played their spring training games at High Corbett Field in Tucson.
Okay.
And we had WGN TV, so I just absolutely became a fan.
So I was going to say, I still have a soft spot for the Cubbies because of WGN, and growing up in D.C., we didn't have a baseball team.
So a lot of people ended up liking the Cubs. One, they were always the underdog.
Also the Atlanta Braves.
Atlanta was everywhere, sure.
They are. For some reason, I don't meet people with the same infinity for the Braves that they do for the Cubs. All right.
Cubs fans are like VD, massive Cubs fan.
Right, he's from Chicago, but there's so many people I talk to like him. I'm like, oh, same thing, WGN. I think also because the Cubs, I think to this day, play the minimum amount of night games. They like playing day games. So as a kid, too, when you had summers off, like, they were on.
Yeah. Also,
whereas at the nighttime, once my mom and dad were home, like, they were going to watch the news or some crap.
I know a ton of female Cubs fans because they could watch it during the day who are of my mom's and grandmother's age.
Yeah.
Because it was on during the day. You're absolutely right. And GN was a big network back then.
Yeah.
And everybody had it. I don't know whatever happened to this.
It's still a superstation. I think TBS just got so big, and now there's so many, you got the CW and stuff that those stations kind of went away.
What is the number? Why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Cheyenne. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So, the number that's significant to me is 20, and that's because of Gary Payton. See, I live in South Dakota, but I've spent a lot of time in Seattle, and the first thing that brought me there was I had accomplished a lot of goals in physical therapy, and my dream as a kid at that time, this was all the way back in like 96, was to see the Sonics play. And so I had a friend who was an Olympic gold medalist that made that happen for me, and ended up getting to meet that whole team from the 90s. So that was pretty cool, including Gary Payton. So that's why 20.
Well, that's awesome.
What did your friend get a gold medal in?
He was the 10,000 meter winner in the 1964 Olympics, guy by the name of Billy Mills.
I remember him well.
1964 Olympics.
Billy Mills.
Damn.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say like Apollo Ono.
So wait, why is Gary Payton? You got to meet the entire team. Why does Gary Payton stand out? Or is it just the fact that he was Gary Payton?
I mean, I was just kind of in awe of the whole thing at the time, but Gary Payton was something I was really looking forward to at the time. So, and that started the relationship that I have with Seattle now. I've done several different things out there, so it was kind of cool.
All right. That's not bad, man. Mm-hmm. That's a nice positive one there.
Gary Payton also, like Sean Kemp, like super famous. But I mean, Gary Payton might be the most famous player from those Sonics teams.
I would think nationally speaking, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone would know who he is.
What is the number? Why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
It's after bedtime, the kids are asleep, and the moms are out to play.
We're Dina and Kristen, the duo behind the Instagram account Big Little Feelings. I'm Dina. I'm a child therapist and mom of two who nerds out on all things neurobiology and psychology. And Kristen is a parent coach who wrangles 3 kids on a daily basis, here to give it to us like it is.
We weren't meant to do this parenting thing alone. Consider After Bedtime your village.
Follow After Bedtime with Big Little Feelings on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
What's the number? Why is it significant to you? Nick Cannon. Lots of kids. He's fathered 12, 5 of whom are less than 1 year old, with 6
Jesus. I read a story about either his brother or sister who says that they have not met all their nieces and nephews, a handful, but cannot remember all of their names.
There's no way. There's no way. Look, you have 5 kids, 1 year old or younger. Mm-hmm. Look, I can keep up with some of this, but like at that point, all bets are off.
And our buddy works for him now.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Ted, you're going to love this one.
She did radio up here for a while, then she was down in Dallas, and now she's in L.A. working on Nick Cannon's
podcast radio show.
Yeah, it's hard to tell these days. I don't know if he's on like a satellite radio or it's a podcast network, but it's a nice studio.
I bet it is.
Ted, you're going to like this one. There's a family of Miami Dolphin fans.
Okay.
Their deal is this. They take a shot at tequila every time their team scores a touchdown.
Last weekend must have been a mess.
Sunday, the Dolphins beat the Denver Broncos 70-20. That is a dangerous score. For those of you who need help with the math, 70 points, 10 touchdowns. Meaning everyone in the family, every single member of the family who does this tradition had to take 10 tequila shots in about 3.5 hours. One of them ended up tweeting that it might be time to rethink the family tradition.
Based on the offense Miami's putting out there this year, maybe you
But if you get together and this is your tradition that you do, you're not going to beat that number. That's going to be
that's the most you're going to do.
No.
I mean, 10 is a lot. I would have a difficult
in
time.
3.5 hours.
10 shots.
10's a lot anyway, but in 3.5 hours, that's
it can be done. My issue is if I'm watching a game on a Sunday,
You're also drinking beer.
I'm probably having a beer.
Right.
So I figure once they get to like 42 points, I might be like, all right, we're done with the beers.
I'm going to smoke a joint at halftime. I know my routine.
Right.
So by the time that gets there, God, I hope they don't pile it on in the second half.
Like if I'm watching Sounders at home, not so much anymore, but that used to be one of my things. Like if they scored a goal, have a shot. But it's soccer.
It's soccer, right. The worst case, on average, is maybe 3, maybe 5 if you absolutely dominate someone. But you're not going crazy. Although, Ted, remember we used to do the draft party, right? NFL draft.
That was a lot of boozing.
And we would drink a beer for every draft pick.
In the first round.
Right, in the first round, right. So my wife did not love the idea. She's like, by the 18th pick, you guys are... We can't talk to you. Nobody knows what's going on. People are dead asleep on the sofa. Like, but we try.
Yeah. Well, and you got to keep in mind, when I started that was still, the draft started on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock out here.
Yep.
And there was only 5 minutes in between picks in the first round.
Yeah, so we're just
now
crushing
there's
beer.
15. Yeah, so basically you just had to chug like 4 or 5 beers to start.
So the story goes, no one played more shows at Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino than Elvis Presley.
That's awesome.
Who notched an impressive 636 sold-out performances in his residency before his 1977 death. Probably the reason he was sweating all the time. No one until last weekend. That is when 70s legend Barry Manilow logged his 637th show at the same venue.
Elvis got outdone by Barry Manilow.
NPR reports that Manilow, known for such hits as Copacabana, Mandy, and Can't Smile Without You, showed up for his record-breaking performance in a red jacket with the Elvis iconic TCB lightning bolt stitched into the sleeve. Manilow did Hound Dog as a tribute to the king.
I'd be curious to hear Barry Manilow's interpretation of Hound Dog.
Welcome to our record-breaking weekend, he said as he took the stage. NPR also notes that both Manilow and Elvis, their records pale in comparison to the longest residency in Las Vegas history.
Now, is this someone still active?
Yes, as a matter of fact, one of the members is still doing a show.
I know.
So it's a band, not a DJ?
It is not a DJ.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to call them a band,
perhaps.
They used to be a family television show.
The Osmonds?
The Osmonds, dude. I cannot believe.
Donnie and Marie played 1,730 shows over 11 years. Manilow, believe it or not, still thinks he can catch up with that as those guys aren't doing that residency anymore.
Dude, I don't know if you're going to live that long.
But either way.
That is a lot of the Osmonds. I mean,
yeah, keep in mind, 637 shows for Manilow. All those shows were sold out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
So that's a crazy number.
What's it, Donnie and Marie?
Yeah, Donnie and Marie.
Did they ever seem a little too close?
I mean, look, I was a kid. They had a TV show for a while, like their own variety show or something. And it's the most wholesome, awful thing you could possibly watch. But as a kid, it was fine. They never struck me as weird there. Then they kind of disappeared for a while. Honestly, no, I never thought.
But I didn't know them as right, like that. I never saw the Osmonds or whatever.
Right.
They were just I just remember them being like a singing couple. And then I was like, oh, they're brother and sister.
Well, it's a whole family. So the Osmonds,
right.
they were the
I
best
fathom it
looking
now.
ones, I guess, and they put them in the front.
That's basically it.
And then the other,
maybe it's just me. I thought they seemed a little too close.
The ugly Osmonds they put in the back. But whatever was going on at the time.
That's the backup band. Donnie Marie and the ugly Osmonds.
It was a variety show. So if the Hulk was popular on TV.
Huge.
Lou Ferrigno would come out dressed as the Hulk, all green, and he would be on the Osmonds doing either a skit or something stupid, or it was just one of those shows.
For real?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember
most
that.
of those
I loved the Hulk as a
Most
kid.
of those variety shows did that. I mean, when you think about, like, bringing in the Star Wars characters.
Right, they had to be dressed up.
Any type of variety show, they would bring in who was popular at the time and feature them, whether it was Cher doing a duet with Donnie or whatever the deal was. It was just whoever was popular. They ended up doing either a sketch or a song or something.
I've always wondered, like, how annoying does that get for certain people? Okay, so Lou Ferrigno, you're going to make a guest appearance. You got to dress as the Hulk because that's the only time anyone's going to care about you, right? But you see all these TV commercials, particularly when it features football players, and no matter what it is they're pimping, like, but you need to put on your football uniform. Other than these Subway ads where you can just dress in street clothes and say, hey, we prefer this or whatever the hell, like, every time they do these dumbass commercials, I'm like, do the football players go like, man, can we do a commercial where I don't have to put on shoulder pads and the pants and the jersey and a helmet and all the rest of this nonsense? You know, even when it's like a real estate ad for someone local, like, oh, we have so-and-so with us. The guy doing the pitch is wearing a normal business suit. Then they bring this football player which, if you like football, that's good enough. But no, they have to have the shoulder pads and all that. And they make some corny joke that relates back to the sport.
I mean, football has it the worst.
Right. I mean, and I know they're not in full pads, but I'm like, honest to God, they're like, come on, man.
They generally have on some type of team gear.
There's something.
But I watched a whole thing on ESPN about athletes and wasting all the money they make. And keep in mind, out of the 4 major sports, the football, NFL players make the least.
Yeah.
But they call it helmet syndrome. Because you don't know because they're wearing helmets and pads all the time. So they don't get recognized, right? Whereas like a baseball player, basketball player, like you recognize them. Basketball players pretty easy because they're giant.
Yeah.
But baseball players, you just see their face every day. Whereas football players, sometimes when they're out somewhere, if you're not a giant dude, like they almost like they have to overcome it, and they buy more drinks for the bars. They buy more bottles.
Really?
Yeah. So that's not. You're right. Like I think when they do those ads, it's like, oh, he's a football guy. We got to remind
you
people.
got to wear your football uniform. Yeah. Like, come on, man. We're pitching like a toilet cleaner.
Right. Because even if we had, let's say, DK Metcalf do a commercial for the men's room on TV, like we would put him in a KISW men's room like football jersey.
Yeah. Yes, we would. What's the number? Why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Doc. Welcome to the men's room.
What's up, young guns?
Hola.
Hey, my number is 15, and the reason being is because my wife's birthday is April 15th.
All right.
We got married on May 15th. My birthday is June 15th, and we got baptized together at our church on July 15th.
Now, did you do all this on purpose? Going like, hey, man, let's just, the 15th of each month starting in April.
Well, now look, I didn't help her get born, so
Yes,
that was up to her mom and dad.
But all the rest you could kind of control.
But yes, well, I didn't control my birthday either, but we did choose the wedding date for May 15th because of our birthdays, and then the baptism just came about that it fell on that day, and so we did that.
Did your wife ever get upset that her birthday is on tax day?
No, because then that's a reminder that
get them done.
We're either going to get some money back, or we're going to have to give some money back.
Did you get to walk into one of those big tanks when you got baptized? They have like those steps that come down, like the new baptism.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
See, I was dunked in a river.
Really?
Yeah.
That's even better. That's the way Jesus did it.
Yeah,
Why not?
That's the original. That's the old school way, man.
Might have had a little sulfur in it from the runoff from the stream.
I guarantee you.
No, trust me. I went to Catholic school my whole life. We were always so jealous of people that got to do it in a river.
Really?
For real?
Oh, yeah. Well, number one, he's right. John the Baptist, like Catholicism isn't even a thing yet. And Jesus is like, you got to baptize me. He's like, well, I can't. You're the Son of God. But he gets it done, I want to say, in the Jordan River.
That is a big ass.
Yeah. Right. It already looks, you already want to kind of be like Jesus at that point. And then also, like, I don't know, like, we just had, you get babies and they pour a little over your forehead.
Or a little bit on your
even
head.
if you're an adult, I think they just kind of poured some on your head.
I was 5 years old. And the thing that I remember the most was I had my nice clothes on.
Yeah.
So I have to walk into the river. And I'm like, I don't want to walk into the river. Like, can I take my pants off? Can I take my shoes off? Can I take my socks off? Can you
take anything off?
Can I wear my bathing suit? No, I went in with my best Sunday clothes on.
Shoes and all.
Yeah. But
you can't even get barefoot?
The guy who baptized me, the minister, he had his full robe and everything on. And he was the first guy. I wasn't the first kid to be baptized that day.
Right.
So as soon as I saw him walk into the river, in all of his robes, and everything was getting wet, I'm like, it's perfectly fine if I jump in this.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hell with it, man. He's fully dressed. Because I felt awkward.
Seemed to bug him.
Typically, if you're going to be in the river, you're probably going to swim. So I just kind of figured I should put on some swim trunks.
That is a lot, man. That just got baptized in the river.
It's West Virginia.
I know it's West Virginia.
What are they going to do, an above-ground pool?
Probably. Back up a pickup truck.
Walk down this blue ladder.
Right.
Or just come down the slide.
Slide in there, son. There you go.
With a deck that they built around it to make it the same height.
Right.
What's the number and why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Wade. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So no here, gentlemen.
How are you, sir?
Good. So the number is, I went down fishing this weekend on the Puyallup River, and the number is 2, and that's the number of times that I face planted into the Puyallup River.
Did you slip on a rock?
I did slip on the rocks.
Yeah.
I was taking a buddy, he's a new fisherman, and so I'm showing him how to tie hooks and all the ins and outs and how to drift fish and all that. And I'm all dressed up in the nines. I got my fishing vest and I got my puffy coat on with my hood because it's raining now. And I took a fall and landed on the rocks, landed on my reel, bent the aircraft aluminum handles on my reel, somehow on my ribs. I think that's where I hit the ribs. And then I was trying to get back up out of the river and not realizing now I'm about 100 pounds heavier. And then I ate crap again.
Did you catch any
my
fish?
buddy's like, no.
Put your face plant.
No.
Okay. Well, what did you have a chance to get? Trout or salmon or what?
Salmon, coho, mostly is what I'm after, but I'll take a king for sure.
Okay, yeah. I think most people would.
Wait, just a side note. I'm not an expert fisherman, but if you face plant more than you have the number of fish, it's not a good day.
That's what made it significant.
Yeah, I bet you remember that.
Yeah.
Is that the first time you slipped and face planted while fishing?
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing in the water and slipped before, but fishing, and especially when I'm teaching somebody else how to fish.
Yeah, it's not a good look, bro.
No. And my buddy, he's just like, my bro, what are you doing up there?
Okay, did your buddy catch any fish?
No, he did the first time I took him. He did. He got a coho actually in his first try. And
at least you weren't wearing waders, dude.
I was wearing waders.
That's why he weighed 100 pounds more.
That's a disaster. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and the puffy coat. And then, and then at the end, of course, I had to hike back out of there all sloshy in my waders and 100 pounds worth of clothes, and it was just miserable.
That sounds awful, man. That should put his ass on Deadliest Catch.
What is the number? Why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
It's kind of a weird question now, so I'm thinking about, like, what numbers are significant to me, right? And obviously, your own birthday, the birthday of your kids.
Well, those are kind of
like
dates,
that, right?
You know,
there's dates, but then, the woman called earlier with her 7788. Like, those dates somehow parlay into other things in your life. You know what I mean? Like, say, coming up with codes and all this, but I thought, all right. I was expelled 4 times from high school, right? 4. All right. Went to 3 different high schools, expelled 4 times. To be fair, the 4th time was a clerical error. I waited about 2 weeks to share that with my parents and buy more time. Part of the reason I got expelled, I missed 120 of the 180 days of my junior year.
Okay.
And I've been involved in 1 kidnapping. So as far as numbers go, I'm like,
that's probably enough.
Yeah, 1 is enough, I found.
I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, there's so many numbers, right? You can think of like jersey numbers, like 99 will always be, just because it was kind of cool. We were the last class to graduate in that century. But also, I can remember the number 30. Me and my buddy had a 30-pack race one day.
Ooh.
And it was wild.
Who won?
So here's the issue, right? I had worked the morning shift running Shalom, Baltimore.
Ah, yes.
Then I got home. We started drinking it. And then somewhere around 20, we were so hammered. We got to do this together.
20 apiece.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, keep in mind, we're 21.
Racing. Yeah.
Do not recommend this. It was bad. That's what I'm saying. We were like slobbering drunk, so we were like, we gotta do it together. And then, God, this sounds horrible, but we acquired a wheelchair.
How did you acquire a wheelchair?
We lived in the neighborhood of a hospital. And then we tried to go to the bar we all worked at. And like I could say this, that bar's closed now. PJ's down by Hopkins.
Yeah.
The daytime bartender, who we all know on a Sunday, was like, no. And we were like, what do you mean? First of all, Jackass was big, so there was a flight of stairs, but my buddy just sent me. So I just come crashing through with a wheelchair, and he's just like, no. And we're like, oh, nobody's going to come in here. He's like, I do not care. Like, get the hell out, all of you.
You crashed into the bar itself. Because I remember you went downstairs and the door was right there.
There was like that little counter where you could buy beer. But can you imagine? I mean, it was only like 6 or 7 stairs, but instead of trying to
a 300-pound dude in a wheelchair.
He just threw me down there.
In a wheelchair.
Correct. So I come just crashing down, then the wheelchair, then like 5 more like just drunk idiots. And like, Burris is the smallest guy in that group, but like, my buddy Steve played college basketball. He's a big man. So they were just like, no, get out. Please just get out of the bar. And then we went home. I don't remember what else we did. I think I woke up in the backyard. It was bad.
What is the number? Why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Brock. Welcome to the men's room.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. Hola.
Hey, I wanted to ask Ted a quick question. Your buddy that fell off the cliffs in D.C. at Alpental, that wasn't Chad, was it?
Oh, no. His name was Fletch.
Oh,
all
Fletch,
right.
Yeah. He worked here with us. He was not from D.C.
All right, because there's a bunch of people I guess that have fallen down there. I also share a birthday with 513, Miles, your daughter.
Oh, cool. Huh.
Yeah. But I'm calling about 31, the number, stitches that I had in my head after I got hit with the pool stick.
Oh, dang. All right.
I've been hit with a pool stick, but in the back and the arm.
Why did you get hit with a pool stick?
So I'm at, I'm at a bar in West Seattle. This is the late 90s. It's the day before Thanksgiving, and we're playing pool. My soon-to-be ex-wife was playing a game with one of her girlfriends, and this young kid comes up and rolls the pool stick over the pool table and kind of knocks the balls around, and I'm like, hey, buddy, what are you doing? And I turned my head, and he picked up the pool stick and smashed me in the head.
Are you sure all you said is, hey, buddy, what are you doing? Is that really all it took to trigger this dude?
That's all it was. He was hammered. He could barely even walk. I didn't even see it. All of a sudden, I just heard the crack and stars, and I'm laying on the ground, and I look up at my buddy who's above me, and I said, hey, either go kick that guy's butt or go grab him. And he bolts out the back alley. My friend follows him down this alley, and then he actually grabs the guy, and he brings him back. And he doesn't start a fight or anything, and he gets arrested.
Damn. Okay. And you got 31 stitches in your head.
Yeah, it was the worst. I've had a lot of concussions because I played a lot of sports and skiing and stuff like that. But I was concussed for 2 weeks where whenever I stood up, I would get nauseous.
Gee, how many times, how many concussions do you think you got through the course of your life?
That's not good before you want to eat Thanksgiving dinner to be nauseous.
No, I couldn't even eat. I had to lay on the couch and I tried to get up to sit down and eat, but no. Probably, I played soccer, so head a few times. Skiing, I've been knocked out a few times. My guess is probably 6 to 8.
That's a lot.
That one I know for sure.
That's significant, man.
Yeah, that's what I think 8 was when Troy Aikman said, I'm going to go ahead and stop playing.
Pretty sure I've known for a fact that I've had 3, but I'm pretty sure I had 4. The way that I just...
Yeah, when you get knocked out, you're pretty much,
Yeah, but like you said, in our day, you just had your bell rung. Right? There was no particular concern about your condition. You just go, right. He got his bell rung. Now we call it a concussion. We understand the difference and they do different protocols. So I think a lot of kids, man, growing up, at least in our day and certainly before us, probably had multiple concussions and never knew. Mm-hmm. Right? You come out with a grog and they tell you, like, man, step it up, get over it. You got 5 minutes. Get a hold of yourself, get back out there.
The worst one I ever had was at my neighbor's house, who was an older guy than me, probably 2 or 3 years older, but he would let us play basketball in his driveway.
Yeah.
But he was in high school. We were in junior high. And he had a cement basketball rim in the ground, and you could adjust the height.
All right.
So we adjusted the height to about 8 feet, probably.
They trying to dunk?
And we're dunking.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it was fun. It was great. I hung onto the rim with 2 hands, but my hand slipped off.
All right.
So my legs kept flipping up underneath me, and I landed on the back of my head and my shoulders. And I mean, that was the one where my buddy's like, you were out for at least 2 minutes before we can wake you up.
Damn, man.
They were worried. Like, they were like, man, he's dead. And I did it to myself. I just slipped my hand.
That's what you get for hot dogging and trying to become right.
I was, man. I was trying to be like Dominique Wilkes or something. Wilkes and just like tomahawk. And as soon as I did it, I hung on and tried to shake it. My hand slipped off, but my legs kept going because I came in from the side. Next thing I know, I'm on the back of my head.
You made Dominique proud.
About 2 days later, man, I'm like, I still was having a hard time seeing light. Like the piercing that went through my eyes anytime any kind of light came in, it was just like, oh, God, it would give me a headache in the back of my head. I'm like, I knocked myself out. Like, I know it.
Don't dunk anymore.
Yep. What is the number and why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Here's a fun number for you. A week after an escaped murderer was finally captured in Pennsylvania comes a different kind of jailbreak and warning residents to stay inside. Between 6,000 and 8,000 minks were released from their cages, per a report from the Pennsylvania State Police. Right now, it's like living in some sort of sci-fi movie or horror film. Everywhere you look, there are minks running through the fields, standing in the roads, trying to find shelter and get into random homes. It was thought that most of the minks that fled the farm, some 60 miles north of Harrisburg, had been collected by Tuesday, but residents were advised to not try to capture or even approach the few hundred animals thought to remain on the loose Live minks can be dangerous and may bite you, according to authorities.
It's pretty nasty. I just looked up real quick. Problems caused by minks. You said, what, 3,000 to 6,000?
6,000 to 8,000 released from their cages.
So they say here, mink are effective predators, eating birds and their eggs, native and domestic fowl, small mammals, fish, amphibians, shellfish, and crustaceans. In particular, water vole and ground nesting bird populations are at risk from mink. So you got 6,000 to 8,000 of them.
1-1 is the number. Why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Julia. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello, guys.
Hola.
How are you?
We're doing great, thank you.
Good, good. My number is 27.
Okay. What does that represent?
And it's funny, when I was on the hold waiting for you guys to answer the phone, I heard about 3 people say the same number. That was pretty cool. But first of all, because it's my birthday today.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. And my best friend's birthday, my numerous people in my family, are important people to me. That's their birthday. I won a raffle in Alaska one time for $1,000, and the winning numbers, the last 2 numbers on the raffle were 27.
So I guess this has become your quote unquote lucky number now.
Oh yeah, it's definitely my go-to number.
Okay. Because in the world of rock musicians, it's not a good one.
Yeah, it's a bad one there.
Yeah, 27.
Yeah, the Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain,
Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison.
Yeah, that's the 27 Club. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
That's kind of a downer, but it's been good to me. And then now I can add that I got to talk to my favorite Seattle guys on the 27th.
All right.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
And again, you share a birthday with my father. That's right. I had to text him this morning. I said, look, the kids are at school. Because it has nothing to do with me now. I understand how this works. Later tonight, we'll do the FaceTime thing.
Yeah.
Hey, he's really, I don't care about you, man.
What is the number? Why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Forrest. Welcome to the men's room.
Well, hey.
Hola.
Okay, so my number is 17, and it goes back to the late 70s. 3 of my buddies and I were going to go see Jeff Beck on July 17th. So we dropped acid, and we were on the way to the show, and one of the guys said, hey, my girlfriend, Michelle, has got some weed, so we were going to stop by her house and get some on the way. Well, we go to the front porch. She was an awful girlfriend, by the way. We all go to the front porch, and she breaks up with him right in front of all of his buddies. Right as we're all on acid.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we were so bummed. We were terribly bummed. So we went to the show. Our seats were on the 17th row. I had the 17th seat on the 17th row, but I gave it to Glenn because his girlfriend broke up with him. Well, the show started, and we were all just kind of like, nah. And then there's this place where Jeff Beck takes the tremolo arm, holds his guitar up over his head by the tremolo arm, and bounces it off the top of his head. You know, like that. And it's kind of a little stick that he had. Anyway, and I think maybe he was not accustomed to the weight of the left paw, because we were close enough to see that he was stunned when he dropped that guitar on his head.
That's a heavy guitar, man.
Yeah, and we all started laughing so hard. And what that did is that sealed our bond of brothers that's still present today. And what would happen is every July 17th, we would drop acid together and call it Michelle Day.
That's awesome.
And we still stay in touch via phone, but we don't.
You don't do the other.
Together because we're all over the country.
Hey, man, I'm tripping.
But it's still Michelle Day, right?
I thought I'd call you.
How weird is it to see someone break up with their girlfriend, particularly when they did not know it was coming, and you're tripping on acid?
It was horrible. We popped out, and it was because we were just so excited. Jeff Beck, blow, all right, and then that.
Yeah.
So that's 17 is significant to me.
Wow, I like that you still celebrate it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a cool little thing there.
That is very cool. What is the number? Why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, CJ. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
All right, gentlemen, I got one here for you. My number is 69, and it has nothing to do with sex.
Okay.
I used to be a professional baseball player, and back in the early 90s, I got called up to big league camp. Uniform number, 69.
They assigned that to you?
Yes, they did.
How long ago was this?
God, early 90s.
Who called you?
92, maybe.
What team called you up?
What's that?
What team called you up?
Cleveland.
All right. Now, did you make it to the majors, or were you still in the minors?
No, I was a career hump. I was a minor leaguer, but they used to call up guys during spring training. You know, in case 17 guys got hurt, I'd get a chance to play. Type of thing.
Right. Okay. You just need 17 guys to go down.
Yeah, 17.
Yeah. He still played in the minors, which is a very high level and good accomplishment.
What towns did you live in?
I lived in Canton, Akron, Kinston, North Carolina, Burlington, North Carolina.
What team did you have with the goofiest name? Because minor league baseball excels at ridiculous
names.
names.
Then, not as much.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear the question.
So what team had the...
For Indians. That was back then. The creative names didn't really come around till after I left.
Okay.
But, when I went up there the first time, my locker was right next to Albert Bell.
Was he a decent guy?
All right. First of all, he's probably one of the most scariest looking human beings you've ever seen.
Okay.
Yeah, he's also rich.
In fact, early in his career, they were in Yankee Stadium. Guy hit the single. He was playing left field. Guy was heckling him in the left field stands. Instead of throwing the ball to the infield, he hits the guy in the chest with the ball during a live game.
I mean, he was pretty known for being crazy. There was, I don't know if it's true, but there's that story of him chasing around kids with a baseball bat on Halloween or something.
Yeah.
As he knocked on his door.
He threw probably one of the best forearm shivers in baseball history to Fernando Vina from Milwaukee on a double play ball. I'm sure you've seen the highlight. It was savage.
All right. Did you talk to him at all, though?
Well, I was a little nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'm sitting there right next to him, and it was in the morning, and I was getting up, and I'm just going to grab a cup of coffee. And so I just kind of looked at him and said, "Hey, you need a cup of coffee?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." And so I went and got him one and brought it back. And you know, getting back to Ted's point, probably the nicest guy ever, but Jesus, was he scary.
Yeah. He had that look to him. Well, you know what? He cashed out pretty nicely with the Baltimore Orioles on the contract.
Yeah, well, he's one of the few guys that hit 50 homers and 50 doubles in the same season.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I believe Barry Bonds was another. And maybe even 25 steals.
Could be, yeah. Guy could run a little bit. But I remember the first 15 minutes sitting in that locker going, I'm just going to try not to get killed.
Right.
That's my main goal today. Is not...
Was it weird because at that point in time, kind of Major League was still a pretty popular movie that was based on the Cleveland Indians? Did they ever bring in like Vaughn to throw out the first pitch or anything?
I never saw that, but it came out the year I signed my contract with them in '89.
So how many years did you end up playing professional ball?
About 5.
All right.
Played 5 years. Was with Cleveland for 4.5. Then I got traded to Milwaukee. I'm not even sure I got traded for an actual player. I probably got traded for like a bucket of batting practice balls and a half case of Bud Light. I don't even think they even traded me for another player. They just felt sorry for me.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the minor leagues have some of the craziest stories. I forget what team it was, but one of the guys in the booth, right, had obviously played baseball.
All right.
And they asked him the wildest story, and he got traded to another team for a player to be named later.
Okay.
That's what I was.
But when it went like a few weeks or something, they named the player. It's him. They traded him back.
Oh, damn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was the whole trade.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't even think I was actually traded for another physical human being.
Well, those
are the worst ones. Just traded for some amount of cash.
When you look back, were those some pretty good times in your life, though?
Oh, yeah. Gosh, I tell you, there was... I mean, you want to talk about... You know, I look back at it now. It's been over 30 years. I don't remember specific games or anything like that. I just remember the stories. Here's one for you. Remember when Bull Durham came out?
Yeah.
All right. There's a scene in that movie where... And I think it's Kevin Costner, but I can't remember. But anyway, he's arguing with the umpire. And back then, or actually in the movie, they said, all right, you can say whatever you want. You just can't call him a sea sucker.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in the movie.
Right.
So fast forward a couple years, I'm in Double-A ball, and my roommate, of all people, was out on the mound. He gets called for a balk, and then he gets kicked out of the game. So I would go back to the clubhouse. I go, what did you say to the guy? He goes, I called him a sea sucker. And I go, he kicked you out for that? And he goes, yeah. And I go, that's a real thing? He goes, apparently. I had no idea. But that was the thing. You could not call him a sea sucker. All right. Good to know.
Good to know. Yeah.
Little learn.
Well, yeah, information learned. But, just thinking about the, just off the field antics. I mean, that's what I remember. I mean, I couldn't even tell you what any of my stats were. I'll be honest with you. I have to look them up.
Where was the scariest small town that you played in? Where you're like, oh man, we should not go to a bar today.
Oh gosh, it would have been Withville, West Virginia, I believe.
Is that right?
The reason why is because they didn't have the physical railroad tracks in the outfield, but they actually had the grooves for it.
Jesus, man, are you kidding me?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, and then this would have been 89. They drafted a kid first round. And, I mean, this kid was a monster, like 6'4", 250. And we were playing him, and there's a base hit. He's on second. He's coming around third, full head of steams. We got a catcher that's about 140 pounds. And the ball and him got there at the same time. And I swear to God, that kid, our guy, the catcher, ended up like 6 rows back in the seats. That's how hard he did it.
Good times.
What did you get into after baseball? I'm curious.
Actually, I played my last game as a professional baseball player. I flew home the next day, and I was a full-time teacher the next day because I accepted a teaching job.
Wow, that's awesome.
I assume you're coaching too?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did a lot. I was a head college coach for a little while, and I did a lot of that.
Nice.
And then moved over here to Everett, met my wife, and then all those fantasy things had to go away and had to get a real job.
Sure. Yep, sure. Yeah, that's life.
Funny how that works, isn't it?
Exactly right.
And I got married, and into the movie.
What is the number? Why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Stella. Welcome to the men's room.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Hola.
Hola, Pichola. I want to say the number 29 is important for me because it is unfortunately the day that my boyfriend of 4 years, who loved your guys' show, listened every day, loved, and he passed away on the 29th. So, it's a huge deal for me. I got sober because of him, and so.
How long ago was that?
A little over a year ago, and
right.
We were both severe alcoholics, but it's been a rough road. But I got sober because of him, and you guys were his. He listened to you guys every day. He could have been sicker than anything, but he still made sure that he had to listen to you guys all day long.
I find it amazing that anyone who's trying to get sober would choose to listen to us. And I don't even say that to be funny, but this would be the last show. Hey man, I'm trying to clean up my life. I'm trying to
down the hole of it, Joel.
Right. I mean, this is the last show on earth that I would tune into.
I have a couple sober buddies, though. They love it.
Yeah.
Well, they don't drink anymore, but they still, or I have a couple that are sober, don't do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, it's like hearing some of the old stories. He'll still tell me some of the stories.
I like you have to qualify sober. Man.
Well, I also I know more people that are California sober as opposed to sober.
Yeah, definitely a lot of that. So how long has it been since you've had a drink, Stella?
Since December 23rd of this last year.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. That's a significant number then.
Good on you.
That date means something. Okay.
Well, no, like I said, I had to call for him because, I could come home having the worst day and you guys would be on and he would make sure that, it'd be right when you guys would be doing, green beans or taking a shot or anything. And, you guys always knew how to cheer him up, which cheered me up. So
okay. It is amazing the green beans. Mm-hmm. you never know, man. You never know.
Well, congratulations on your sobriety.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah. No doubt.
What is the number? Why is it significant to you? 206-803-ROCK.
Mike, we should isolate that call and send it to the guy that wrote Green Beans.
Yeah.
Because remember, I tried to buy the rights from it, and he's even like, why? I'm like, well, it's just something. He's like, just play it all you want.
Green Beans.
Yeah, no one cares.
So let him know. I think it blew his mind. That's a good question. Why do you want to buy this song? Hello, Debbie. Welcome to the men's room.
Hi, hola.
Hola. So what's your number, Debbie?
5.
Okay.
Okay, why 5?
$5 footlongs.
Because
Five Guys burgers.
because both mine and my husband, who's passed, birthdays were in May. He was the 4th of May, and I brought up the last day in May.
Okay, I thought you were going to say you had 5 different kids from 5 different baby daddies.
I wish.
Oh, good for you.
We like you, Debbie.
All right, Debbie.
Man, oh, man.
Don't say that, Debbie.
Yeah, no.
You never know.
Every guy listening to this show right now wants your number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just so you know.
I'm too old for that now.
How old are you now?
60 this year. 60.
Let's see, that's a significant number.
But here's the thing. I'm 54, so you're still in my wheelhouse. It's funny how that works. In my 20s, I'd been like,
Well,
oh,
I'm
man.
single now.
Hey.
Pass.
Look out.
Uh-oh.
Have you jumped back on the wagon there? You know what I mean?
No, it'll be 4 years this Christmas night that he's been gone.
Okay, so it's been 4 years since you've been out with anybody.
Right.
Okay.
You said Christmas night?
Yeah, I think she sent us an email.
Christmas night, he passed in his sleep unexpectedly.
You did send
We were
us an email.
supposed to be moving in 6 weeks to Kansas for his work that he'd been at for 40 years.
Is
when
this
he passed.
40 years of work and they're going to send him to Kansas? What did he do wrong?
The company moved there.
All right.
Ah, okay.
What are you not dating anyone by choice, by circumstance, or you're just not ready to make that step?
Just haven't met anyone. I've just basically been working and around family, and that's about it.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, Debbie, I'll be honest with you. Like, at your age, that's a target-rich environment. There's a lot of single people in that age bracket. I would say there's got to be, and you can use any dating app or whatever, but I'm almost positive there's got to be one specifically like, hey, like plus 50 or over 60.
Oh, yeah.
I get ads for over 40 ones constantly.
My dad's not married. My mom is not married. My uncle is not married. I mean, most of the people that I know in that age group are just not married in my family, my direct family.
Well, in my opinion, I'm an easygoing person. I love the snow. I love thunder. I love lightning. I love animals.
Yeah, but Debbie, once you said going person, you ruined it for everyone. Mm-hmm. We thought you'd just stop with easy. We're like, all right. Oh, going person. Okay, I see. Something's going to fall into your lap, I guarantee. You can walk into a bar and just say, I'm single. All the drinks will come flowing.
Who Sucks Less is coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Therapy is known to be extremely helpful. But have you ever tried eavesdropping on someone else's problems? Listen to the new podcast, Say More with Dr. Sheila, starring Amy Poehler as the world-renowned self-proclaimed couples therapist.
You know, it's funny, as I was making the appointment to come today.
I'm sorry, I made the appointment.
I booked the appointment.
Listen to Say More with Dr. Sheila on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Coming up, the return of Who Sucks Less, but first time for a few emails from the men's room at KISW.com.
You've got mail.
You've got mail. As far as our question, what is the number? Why is it significant to you guys? The number 78. That is the rough number of vehicles I've owned in my life.
Damn.
Mostly cars, trucks, and SUVs. Also a handful of motorcycles. Why is it significant? Well, it's a lot of damn vehicles for a human to have owned in their life, let alone a 42-year-old. I've always had an infatuation with cars. Apparently, also a short attention span.
Usually have 2 to 3 at a time. Most don't make it more than a year before I'm on to the next, and somehow I've only lost my ass a couple times. Keep it between the ditches, bitches. That from Irish. As we move on to the birthday requests, want to wish my husband a very happy birthday, Damien. Here's to another trip around the sun. Can he get a little turtle sex, please?
You bet.
Guys, want to request a 37th birthday shout out to my wife, Leanne. Please give her green beans. And the Dirty Germans talking about what she and her engineering coworkers spend all day measuring at the Everett Boeing plant.
Didn't we do this yesterday?
Did we do that one yesterday?
Yeah, we did.
All right, we're not doing
Yeah, right, because
birthday
planes
today,
look like...
9/27.
Maybe they sent it in twice. We definitely did that.
Yeah, okay. All right. Boo, bitches. It's September, and that means my best effing friend in the world, Tia, a.k.a. TLC, a.k.a. T-Love, finally older than me again. She sucks and gets to party on the East Coast today. Plus, she doesn't listen to you. Luckily, everyone else does. So it's time to make her birthday dreams come true. She is 45. Can you please give her a Pat Sajak, a bong rip, and the Dirty Germans talking about her being naughty in Boston. Appreciate it, guys. You help us get us through those special something days. Love you guys and keep on rocking. That from Sultan's mom, Sea Dog Millionaire, and Craig.
She wants a D, and she's going to get one.
Yeah, if you're in Boston and you plan on getting naughty, I imagine you'll be giving her cooking lessons. You'll surprise the clam and let the gentleman give you the chowder.
Yeah, well, it's the first thing. I'm sure also people in Boston will see a lot of TIA. But also, you got to be careful. You might wake up with a wicked hangover.
Hangover.
Yes.
Even in German, we still can't pronounce the R's.
Yeah. All right, guys, here you go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ja, the Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Take a moment, a couple extra emails here. Let's see here. Story from Friday, guys, listening on the Odyssey app. Ola Christmas of 2015 was a huge ordeal. All the family members were there, from aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, and a few of my brother's buddies from the military who'd just gotten back from deployment and couldn't make it with their family. Anyway, my favorite uncle, who was driving from Flathead, Montana, asked my boyfriend at the time if we could get some farm fresh chicken for Christmas Eve dinner.
All right.
My boyfriend and I lived in Olympia, and we were super into the whole sustainable agriculture scene. My uncle is a real foodie and was looking to get into the farm-to-table trend, etc. So I asked my boyfriend to head to the local food co-op for some fresh chicken. He nodded and said, I'll meet you in Gig Harbor at your parents' after work with some meat. We meet up on Christmas Eve at my parents'. He opens his back door, and there are 5 boxes tussling in the back of his car. They were live chickens. He looked at me and said, you wanted them fresh, right? So that night, my boyfriend and my brother and his buddies harvested the chickens on the patio while Santa put presents under the tree. But the funniest part is my cousin and her wife pull up in their Uber from the airport while all the harvesting of the chickens was happening. They are members of PETA and hardcore vegans. Her dog jumps out, grabs one of the chicken heads, and starts running around with it. My brother's buddies and my whole family still share this story year after year. By the way, the chicken was totally worth the work. Thanks, guys. That from Anna.
You guys ever pluck a chicken?
Pluck one? No, I've never done that.
All right.
I've found a couple extra feathers on my chicken I bought at the grocery store.
No, I haven't, but like, I don't know. You see people eating stuff on the farm all the time, and like, I don't know. I watch all those hunting shows. Seems like plucking smaller animals is easier. I just wonder, like, is it that? I imagine it's actually a pain in the butt to do.
Yep.
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean, they make machines for it now.
Subject is Kalasi mouthgasm. Ola and liquor and pudding. I've heard you fellas talk about Kalasi's in the past at length. That's our sub shop down there. In,
yeah, our Philly cheese station there.
As I'm rarely on the south end, I stopped by to give it a shot. I told them this was my virgin voyage and gave a shout out to the men's room when I walked up. They recommended the Donny with onions, provolone, and cheese whiz. I added the cherry peppers. Holy S, is that S good? The only way that it could have been any better would require a big old bong rip beforehand. All I can say is wow. Thank you guys for the recommendation. I suggest everyone go try that place out. I think I'll be pounding some porcelain later, but I don't care. It is that good. Appreciate you all and your culinary expertise. Keep on being a positive light for all. Hope to see you guys someday at Poor Decisions. Cheers, bitches. That from Scottola, who says, P.S. Miles is always right.
I've been at Poor Decisions several times.
What a hell of a guy.
Several times.
He's not lying, though. Kalazi's, like, as far as steak and cheese subs go, that is, to me, hands down the best one in this city.
Right you are, Ted. That was a squeaky one.
Thank you, Miles.
Yeah. Subject is black squirrels. Guys, catching up on the Odyssey app. Ted, you say you don't see any black squirrels around here. Well, when the Men's Room World Tour, brought to you by Odyssey, comes to Bellingham, you're going to see quite a bit of them. Been to in Whatcom County for over 30 years. When we first moved here, I swear to God, there were no black squirrels at all. Started noticing a few probably 15 years ago. Now the population has got to be close to 60% black squirrels over gray. LARP up on it. That from Bart.
LARP on, Bart.
LARP up on it, Ted.
I just grew up, we had black squirrels. I did some research. They are in certain swaths and sections.
All right.
Mm-hmm. So like that.
Somebody said California. I think we're going to.
It's kind of all over the country. I didn't find out the reason why. But yeah, there just was black squirrels in that area of Maryland.
Okay. Food stories, guys.
It's different up there. That's why I'm like, Jesus, man.
Catching up on the podcast over the few weeks on the Odyssey app. I was behind, was listening to when you guys were talking about meatloaf. My grandmother made the best meatloaf ever. She did 1 pound of ground beef, 1 pound of Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage, and stovetop stuffing in place of breadcrumbs.
Okay.
And mixed barbecue sauce and the usual egg. Oh, man, that was good as hell. Anyway, keep rocking, and I love you guys. Liquor and Horrors, that from Charlie. The idea of putting the stovetop stuffing mix in instead of breadcrumbs?
Hell yeah.
That sounds to me like that's a game changer right there. And one more. Subject to school days. But just catching up on the podcast on the Odyssey app from here in Utah. I work nights at the zoo, so my ass is here alone all night, so you guys make it a little less creepy. First time emailing you all, but I have to tell you a story because it's still one of my favorites to tell. When I was in my senior year, my brother was a junior, and he snatched $100 out of our parents' room. If I remember right, he was planning on using it to get some green from our buddy at the restaurant we worked at after school. We're at lunch. My stepdad calls me absolutely losing it, wanting to know where the money is. I sure as hell ain't going to snitch. So I played dumb, immediately told my brother he was searching us when we got home. And the dude knew how to search, seeing as how he was in the Army. He panics and makes the dumbest decision on the planet. He goes to our, quote, student store in the cafeteria where you could get candy bars and other BS like for $1 a pop. I kid you not, gentlemen. This son of a gun, he bought out the entire store. Gave out free candy to everyone in the cafeteria like he was Robin Hood, the Robin Hood of diabetes. Still ended up getting caught because our other brother, who was a freshman, ratted him out. Keep on rocking, fellers. I've been listening since I was 13. Look forward to many, many more. Damn. That from Nathan. All right, coming up, we'll drink a toast with the shot of the day, but first.
Now, the men's room wants to know who sucks less?
Okay, time for Who Sucks Less. Team Thrill Hill, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck. It's up to us to determine, though, out of the 3 stories, which one sucks the least. Now, if you happen to follow KISW on Facebook or on Twitter, the debate is already underway on Who Sucks Less.
Yeah, and all 3 of these stories are a little different. We'll be in Kentucky, then we head across the ocean to China, and then we will finish up in California. But let us go to Kentucky, where a Kentucky coroner left a dead man in a hot car overnight, which caused the body to decompose so badly that the man's family was forced to hold a closed casket funeral, but people still got sick from the smell. Basil Payton, he's suing the former Morgan County coroner, Raymond Van Cleve, accusing him of leaving the body of Payton's brother, Nathan, in a body bag overnight in a vehicle on a, quote, unseasonably warm day. So according to the lawsuit, Nathan died on December 30th, 2022, and Van Cleve, then the coroner, retrieved the corpse. However, instead of taking the corpse to the medical examiner's office or putting it in cold storage, he kept possession of the body, which was located inside of a body bag, which was located inside of the guy's SUV that he parked, and then remained during the afternoon and overnight at the home of the coroner. All right, so You drive the body either to cold storage. Medical examiner says, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll just keep the corpse in the car. So basically, the coroner kept the corpse in his car for almost an entire day. So Van Cleve, that's the coroner, he took the body the next day to the medical examiner's office for an autopsy. The autopsy was not requested by the family, but the ME noted that the body was, quote, moderately decomposed. But when a funeral home came to get the body the following day, things appeared to have gone from bad to worse. The body was decomposed so badly that the smell emanating from the body bag was pungent and putrid. The smell was so bad that Nathan Payton's body could not be embalmed due to almost complete decomposition. The funeral service had to be conducted with a closed casket due to the unbearable smell that came from the casket, and even then, people who attended the funeral 6 days later were sickened by the smell. They say multiple pallbearers, visitors, funeral home staff all vomited and became ill because of the foul and pungent odor coming out of the guy's coffin. Now, according to the guy's lawyer, he says Van Cleve did resign from his coroner post after notice of Payton's claims were filed. Okay. Like, dude, take a dead body to cold storage. Do not leave it in your car overnight in an unseasonably warm day in front of your home. Think about that. Now we go to China, where a woman has been charged with fraud after it was revealed that she was employed by 16 different companies at the same time, but she never actually showed up to do any of the work for them. So the woman, she'd been juggling over a dozen employers and collecting paychecks for at least 3 years without actually getting any work done. She and her husband, who's also a suspect in the case, they kept tight records of employers, her exact role at each company, the date that she started working for each of them, and the bank account details provided for the woman's monthly salary. She would constantly be looking for new employees, and then when she would go to job interviews, she would take photos at the job interview, send them to her current employers as proof that she was out there meeting with clients. You follow? So I'm here at a job interview. I take a picture of the guy at Miles Montgomery & Sons law firm, right? Take a picture of it. I send it to Ted, who's actually paying me to pick up clients. I'm there for the interview, but that's how she sold it, okay? And she made enough money that she bought a very expensive apartment in Shanghai. But unfortunately, her scheme started falling apart when one of her former employers found a resignation letter from her on an online work group. Well, the owner of a tech company had hired her and 7 other associates in sales positions, but fired them after a 3-month probation period because they hadn't generated a single lead. So sometime later, the woman made the mistake of sending a resignation letter to another company and several online work groups. Well, this guy, he was a member of one of those groups as well, and he realized she'd been working for another company while in a full-time position at his tech firm. So after doing a bit of investigation, he contacted the police about the former employee. Now, ironically, she was arrested in the middle of another job interview. She had 16 jobs at the time of her arrest, but wasn't putting in any actual work. She was getting monthly paychecks, though, as well as commissions from associates that had helped her get hired. Kind of impressive.
Quite a scam.
That is quite the scam.
Yeah.
And now, I think, Mike, you may have brought this guy up earlier this week or late last week, but we go back to June. 37-year-old guy from California named Rob Mercer said he had stage 4 colon cancer. His dying wish was to play in the World Series of Poker in Vegas. So people donated thousands on GoFundMe to make it happen. It cost $10,000 to enter, but the total donations were valued at more than $30,000. And they included things like a free suite at the Bellagio. I don't know what you know about the Bellagio, but...
Nice.
Yeah, it's real nice. But it turns out the whole thing was a lie. He admitted this week that he doesn't really have colon cancer. Told a reporter that he regrets lying and blamed it on being too embarrassed to reveal he actually has breast cancer. But now people think that that's a lie, too. He said he suspects he has breast cancer, but he hasn't been diagnosed. So he's refusing to pay back the money because he claims he really is sick, but he also might not have it at this point. So he got knocked out of the tournament a few hours in and didn't win any money anyway. But thankfully, GoFundMe just stepped up and they issued refunds to everyone who donated. But they banned Rob from their site and he's been shunned by the poker world. No word on any charges yet, but it might be in the works. GoFundMe did put out a statement saying they plan to cooperate with law enforcement if charges are in fact filed.
I feel like this is a proper time to bring this up and remind people that in most counties in America, coroner is an elected position that people may or may not have experience in the medical field.
Also, a magistrate judge.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, that story, you're just like, I didn't know about coroners. I just didn't realize
he's
that.
He's not a medical examiner. He's the coroner, which is, like you said, that's an elected position. And you may or may not know anything about human anatomy or any of that. But he was the coroner. But look, well, elected or not, me personally, I don't want a corpse sitting in my car overnight. I can't imagine going in and telling my wife, hey, babe, can we put the seats down? I'll take the body to the ME tomorrow. But let's leave him in there overnight.
Right, because it wasn't embalmed.
It was not embalmed yet, and when they tried to embalm the body, they could not embalm the body because it was so decomposed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So this family wanted an open casket thing. He died of some kind of natural cause. Only he was shot in the face, right? So they planned on having an open casket funeral, and to make that happen, generally they're just embalmed, made up a little bit, on you go.
I think that guy sucks the most. And then I would say, listen, the dude scamming people doesn't have cancer. Like, don't scam people. Number two, that's really just real people have real cancer. Yeah, and that's a problem. But like the woman in China, good on her.
Yep, I'm right there with her, Ted.
She worked the company. I shouldn't say giant. I don't know how big they were, but like, I don't know. Score one for them.
Well, you probably should know what your employees are up to. You really if you're going to hire somebody and they're on your payroll, then they become your responsibility as far as what assignments and what you want them to do.
I agree. And look, she tried to cover her track. It was her resignation letters that got her busted.
Yep. Which is kind of ironic.
That is the most ironic. If she just shut up about it or done it in person or anything, instead of posting it online as opposed to just sending it direct. But yeah, that's how she got busted. But yeah, 16 jobs, go to a job interview, and she hired other people to help her out too. So she brought all these people in. I'm telling you, man, this woman.
Wild.
Yeah.
She basically was running an office. She just wasn't working.
She's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But I got to figure out a way that I can make money without ever having to actually work. And she did it.
That's it.
Debate continues on Who Sucks Less if you follow KISW on Twitter
and on Facebook.
Shot of the Day's coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Well, shopping for a car?
Yep, Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh, yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, couple of minutes. We'll drink your toast with the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check-in with Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. Kraft mac and cheese is bringing back its SpongeBob shapes.
I did not know that they had SpongeBob shapes.
I feel like I remember them cycling about when I was a lot younger. When SpongeBob was really first kind of hit its first wave of like, no, this is the kids show of the millennia, dude. And now
that's why they're bringing them back. People keep asking for them.
Right.
Plus, SpongeBob, for what I could tell, he hasn't slowed down a ton.
Not really, man. And he's still kind of a heavy hitter in that world.
Casual observation on a box of macaroni and cheese. I made one a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
The noodles have gotten so much smaller from when I was a kid. It is significantly different, the size of just the regular boxed powdered macaroni and cheese.
Okay.
It's not even close to being the same. I don't know what
I discovered. I would not have known this, but my daughter, she wanted Kraft mac and cheese, but without the cheese. She just wants pasta with butter, right? But anyway, that's what we had, so I just didn't use the powder packet, whatever. But even when I'm dumping it in the water, I'm like, maybe it's just my memory's gone. I don't know, but I thought it looks like there's more in the box, but it's only because they seem super tiny to me. All right, now I know.
I got to make mac and cheese soon. I miss that.
It was great.
That's a nice taste.
I made it with a pork chop. Fantastic.
Good work. I remember when I was younger, somebody made it with Spam one time, and it was okay.
Yeah. I was always a shells and cheese guy, but
with the Velveeta?
Yeah. But I don't know. I rarely make a mac and cheese.
Yeah. I like seeing people with their fancy mac and cheeses. Like, I only ever do the Kraft mac and cheese. Yeah. And they actually put some effort into it.
Because I'll do it. If I want mac and cheese, because no one else is like dying for it in the house. So basically, if I want it, I'm absolutely making it.
Hell yeah.
And it becomes like this hour-and-a-half project before it goes in the oven.
Oh, right, because you're like making it.
I'm making the roux. Right, I'm doing the whole thing. Like, hey, man, if this is just for me, right, you guys have said you don't want any, right?
Making its own macaroni pasta.
Damn right, man. And I hook it up, and then inevitably everybody wants to try it. That looks good. I'm like, well, it looks good because you didn't want any.
Yeah, right.
Like that story with the hen. 9% of men think about the Roman Empire once a week. That's the big talk now.
Right, I see that's all over TikTok and stuff.
Wait, what is that? I just missed that. What was it?
9% of men, only 9% of men think about the Roman Empire once a week. But now it's huge on TikTok for girls to ask their guys, like, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? They're like, all the time, man, all the time.
Who are you dating?
Right.
I'm like, I don't. You don't want to think about the Roman Empire? I'm watching Jeopardy or a big dummy question pops up. It really
this big phenomena. Men are just constantly thinking about the Roman Empire.
But who?
Yeah, originally the one I saw, somebody asked their husband or whatever, and he had a good answer. He was like, "Oh, I think about it all the time." Like he goes, "I think we're going through it right now."
I saw that one video.
Okay,
that was the
right.
best one
He's
that I
just
could
talking
see.
about like everybody, like we see it all the time. Rich are getting farther away, this and that. But it's like, oh, go watch some sports or go listen to the music. And just how the Romans would do plays and stuff and give everybody free food to kind of keep them happy.
Sure.
But right now it became a thing on TikTok. I'm like, if I think about it, it's probably because I'm using indoor plumbing.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Greatest invention by man.
Every time you flush the toilet, thank you, Caesar.
Is gone, you bet.
Yeah, seriously.
It's going to be big. For the second year in a row, the top food city in the U.S. The top food city in the U.S.
Yeah, I'd
Bingo.
go New Orleans.
New Orleans, number one.
It is.
Number two, any guesses?
Orlando.
Orlando does not make it, no.
New York.
New York City, number two. Any idea for number three? I have gold, silver, and bronze up here. Third best food city in
San
the U.S.
Francisco.
No.
D.C.
No. Mr. Smith?
Portland?
Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, well, sure.
Well, that's why New York's number two. Like, at least New Orleans goes, look, we're about 400,000 people. We're not a particularly big city. We just do food right. New York says everyone on Earth has some heritage here. Of course we do food right.
Correct.
Because there's nothing you can't find here.
Mm-hmm. New Orleans does.
I still want to go.
And
and
it's
try that
specific.
food, man.
Because with New York, what do you say about New York food? You say New York pizza. Everything else is ethnic.
Yeah.
It's just there because it's New York City. New Orleans is New Orleans food.
Right.
You know, I mean, that to me is where it's separated.
Right. And everybody that goes young, old, if you're going to party on Bourbon Street or you just want to go see New Orleans, everybody likes the food.
Yeah. I've never heard anyone say, it wasn't that good.
My problem is my wife doesn't like seafood, and I know that's like the bulk of what they got going on down there.
It is, but you can still find a lot of things. And look, this sounds stupid, but there are ways to get Ted to eat mushrooms. There might be a way to get me to eat. Like, they're the place that will figure out, we know you don't like seafood. Try this anyway.
And you know what? We go where she wants to all the time. Doggone it. Now it's time to go where I want to.
right.
We're going to New Orleans.
Trust me, you guys go to Vegas, you guys would have a lot of fun on Bourbon Street.
Hell
too.
yeah.
Yes, you would.
Dude. Hell yeah.
Take her to just have her eat beignets every day.
Right. Exactly.
Trust me, she ain't going to be mad about that.
Where do you guys find the highest concentrations of idiots in your everyday life?
On the road.
You're right. It's absolutely on the road. Luckily, there's some telltale signs.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 things you do to your car that signal to other drivers you're an idiot. There's a Subaru Wagoner, some other POS from the 90s, and the driver decided to deck their car out in seashells and gems and statues. There's not one free spot of metal on that stupid car. I see it once a week around West Seattle. But listen, if it's you, don't worry. It looks really, really nice.
So these are things that you do to your car that signals to other drivers that, quite frankly, you're an idiot. Loud exhaust shows up at the bottom of the list there, which, if I hear a loud exhaust, I'm assuming that you're a young kid.
There's two ways to look at it. Is it intentional?
Right. Are you poor or are you young?
Because I have a neighbor who has very loud exhaust, but when you look at his vehicle, you're like, this is not by design.
Right. He's got a hole in his muffler in there that just can't get fixed.
Trust me.
And look, we were talking about some of those cars the other day, right? With the spoilers, the exhaust, even the wheels that flare out. It's not my thing, but I do fathom that, like, for a lot of people, that's their hobby.
Yeah, that's what
You bet.
And look, as long as you drive decent, I don't care.
Sure.
A lot of times those two things don't correlate, but
Well,
look, if you're decent on the road or whatever, then, man, do your freaking thing.
And the way that your car looks is just the same as the way anybody dresses on the day-to-day. It's just based on your taste, much like you were saying,
you know what?
Ted.
You're right.
I rolled home not terribly long ago, and I saw a car, I think it was like a Suburban that was all jacked up, had big old wheels and rims on it. I said, that just looks stupid. But that's to me. He thinks it looks that's the coolest looking car that he can make.
And look, some people with fast cars, it's not just them. Because I'm always like, I can't believe that car's driving that fast. And then I'll get my buddy's car that's really fast. Like, can you open it up?
Come on, man.
Make it go fast.
We got this long stretch. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go.
You'll get to take it, not me. Come on, man.
The stick figure family shows up on the list.
I don't think you're an idiot. I don't think it's necessary, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I just don't care. And
it might be good for first responders to know how many people they might be looking for at a crash.
That's a good point, right?
We're looking for one R2D2, a dog,
one R2D2,
a baby Yoda, and 2 girls.
Exactly.
Yeah, idiot might be a tough word.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little strong for that, but
we could go with annoying people.
Right. I'm more look at that like, why do I gotta know? Like, maybe it's not. It has nothing to do with us. Like, hey, we all have our own representation on the back window. Cool.
And I will say, most of the time, if you have and your kids are up there, it's up there for your kids.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They are begging you to put that on the car, and it's like, fine, and here we go.
Also, like with baby on board and stuff, like most people aren't trying to get in an accident. So it's not like, I was going to do this crazy illegal move, but no, I won't because you have a child. It's like, people, accidents happen because accidents suck.
Mm-hmm.
Fake bullet holes shows up there.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
The original person who brought this way of being an idiot up says it's like, quote, the kind of life I lead just might put me in the line of fire, except not because they aren't real.
I haven't seen those in years, but that was a pretty big deal back in the day.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, granted, I was 19 or 20, but I was like, that's so gangster.
Looks like he got shut up, man.
Yeah. Somebody here says there's only one car modification I do not care for. And I do not give $2, they say, about your honor student kindergartner.
For real. My favorite is the terrific kid. Like, oh great, they didn't hit anybody today.
I would say like sometimes, but they will.
Look, I did it the other day. Somebody had an Oregon sticker and an SC sticker.
Yeah.
So to me, out loud in my own car, I go, look at this front running MFer.
Oh.
And then like 2 minutes later, I'm like, he might have 2 college students.
Things you do to your car that's a signal to other drivers that you're an idiot. Blinding headlight shows up there.
Well, yeah.
Just leaving your brights on.
Yeah, I mean, that's just stupid.
Right, leaving your brights on. And there are those headlights that you can get that just, they blind everybody, the people that you're behind and the people that are coming at you. And that's just not a good.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Right, if you're going off-road or whatever, I get why you have those, but I'm with you. On the road, they suck.
I would say this, the sticker I hate to see the most. Student driver, be patient. Like, I'm not patient, though. You're asking a lot. Look, everyone's patience probably goes down about 80%.
Sure.
Once you get in the car because you're prepared to be pissed off. And once you see that, like, man, just goddamn it.
Right. At least they know.
Student driver in professional environment. Learn fast.
Not veteran driver, just drives like crap.
Right.
Be patient, veteran driver.
God,
terrible.
My patience does have a line. It's like, okay, you need to be further along if you're going to be up on this road. We are at 60 miles an hour up here. Don't do 52 because you're scared.
Everyone's patience changes in the car. Even you can be in the Pope mobile with the Pope, and at some point you'd hear him mutter a curse word under his breath.
You bet.
Can I hurry the F up?
I had a guy flash his brights at me because he tried to merge over into me, and I was kind of in that no man's land where I have to floor it to get by the guy, but I'm also going to have to jam on my brakes to get in behind him because he wasn't matching my speed. He was just kind of moving over. So I floored it by him, and he starts blinking his flashing lights at me. It's like, you're merging into me. You're supposed to match my speed, dude. Now, I'll work with you. I'll make the hole for you, but at the end of the day, you're coming into my lane of traffic, jackass. The Punisher skull. Having the Punisher skull up there. Basically, it's a sign of anarchy, and there's some people that shouldn't be for anarchy that are putting that up there, and it makes zero sense.
I usually just assume it's a military person.
Yeah, I see a lot of military guys.
That's where I always saw it was like on Humvees or tanks or strikers.
Right. Or a comic book nerd.
Well, I'm familiar. It is a comic.
Exactly.
What does the Punisher stand for? Is that what he wanted? Anarchy?
No, he was a vigilante.
He's an anarchist, right.
He was like Batman if Batman said, no, I'm taking guns.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, he
just took people out.
Right. Yeah, he was that guy.
Batman with guns.
Yeah.
And showed up on time.
Locally hated decals.
Locally hated?
It's literally a decal that says locally hated.
I'm sure those are the same people that went to the school of hard knocks.
Exactly. Man, people hate me because they can't take me. No, because you're a jackass. Like, all you're doing is just saying that you suck. Sorry.
By the way, somebody here says, I learned that the baby on board sticker was actually for first responders to know what they should look for.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
Now I feel bad. I don't care about your baby.
Right.
Like, it's not for you, jackass.
Right.
And somebody here says, I hate the student driver stickers the worst because 99% of the time, it's an adult driving by themselves.
No kidding.
I do not see the students.
No kidding, dude.
Well, they're learning.
Yeah, I know. It's like, trust me, keep those stickers on.
Middle finger and peeing Calvin decals.
Yeah, that's pretty old school.
Yeah, it is.
That's so old. I'm always curious to see what Calvin's peeing on.
Same.
Because, look, it can be, from Ford to Chevy, Chevy to Ford, Cowboys helmet, Ravens helmet, Seahawks helmet, Ford. Okay. So I'm always curious to know. I wonder, what is it that you hate?
Pretty
and
much.
You want the world to know that you hate it. It usually makes me chuckle.
Pretty much. Not using your blinker shows up at number 2, which is the obvious one.
That's why the standard in cars, man.
Right.
I would say idiot on that one.
And to me, it's your version of driving ESP. Nobody knows what your intent is.
Correct.
If you put on the blinker, most of the time, unless you deal with a-holes, you'll notice the people, they'll give you that little bit of leeway you need to change lane.
And the thing
but
is,
if they don't know, no one's making the effort.
Also, with people behind you. Sometimes you're making a left on a busy road. I try to put that blinker on a little early so they can maybe have a chance to get over to the right.
Bet. Now, I will say, because I do try to pay attention to drivers as much as possible, and I've started to kind of read some signs of what it is that you're about to do, so I can kind of tell. But I will take the guy that doesn't signal versus the guy that jams on his brakes, then signals and turns.
Jesus, I know. Like, well, we know
they
now.
both suck.
I want to punch them right out, man.
I would say the signaling that gets me the most is just when you're driving with somebody and they keep going, let me over. Like, you got to turn on the signal.
Right.
They have no idea.
Exactly. You just look like a guy pacing them at this point.
Yeah.
But then the number one thing that you do to your car that's a signal to other drivers that you're an idiot, it's another sticker. Honk if you are stickers.
Oh, Lord, right. I'll give you this.
Honk if you're horny.
Right.
Well,
I guess it depends what you're asking me to honk for.
Or what you're asking me to honk.
Oh, damn it, Miles.
Drive by boob grab. It said honk if you're horny.
Oh, no. A man in New Hampshire walked into a hotel lobby with multiple stab wounds and ended up getting arrested.
Why is that?
Tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Therapy is known to be extremely helpful. But have you ever tried eavesdropping on someone else's problems? Listen to the new podcast, Say More with Dr. Sheila, starring Amy Poehler as the world-renowned self-proclaimed couples therapist.
You know, it's funny, as I was making the appointment to come today.
I'm sorry, I made the appointment.
I booked the appointment.
Listen to Say More with Dr. Sheila on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1 exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
All right, we made it to drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is. As usual, we head to the drink test and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And we got to thank listener Steve Thompson for sending this one our way. So today, we toast elephants. All right, just elephants. Yes, elephants. They're highly intelligent animals with complex emotions, feelings, compassion, and self-awareness. In fact, they're one of the very few species that can recognize themselves in a mirror. Most animals just think it's another animal of their kind. And elephants, they know it's them. They can live anywhere from 50 to 70 years. And they truly do have one of the best memories in nature. But also, they can fart for 7.9 straight seconds. And when an animal farts, we toast it. Thanks to Steve, we got the audio. So this is an elephant. Now, keep in mind, this is not the zoo. These were just general photographers on safari in Africa. They're on the opposite side. Keep in mind, they're on the opposite side of a watering hole from this elephant. The elephant, there's like 3 of them there. You can tell which one's farting because it's whipping its tail. Again, this is from the other side of a watering hole. Ta-da! Yeah, that was, listen to that one more time, man. That's wet. And parents know, if you hear your kid do that, you immediately say, change your pants.
That's going to itch when it dries.
That needs a dry wipe.
I mean, that is, God almighty, man. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bijola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game to play. We'll share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Josh. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hi, Joshy Josh. You understand how this here game is played?
I do.
Fantastic. You have your choice of one of three stories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone. And finally, today, we have hit me with your best shot, where you guess the unconventional weapon that someone chose to use as a weapon.
Let's do drugs.
Yes. All right, here is your story. A man in Delaware, he was woken to the screams of a woman in the street, only to find her lodged up to her waist in his car's broken windshield. Now, the unfortunate vehicle owner, he grabbed his phone, recorded the bizarre scene that was playing outside of his home. Again, this is in Dover, Delaware. Now, the woman, dressed in a gray T-shirt, she stands with her head and torso protruding from the windshield of his sedan that he had parked on his own damn street. But while she's doing that, she's also hurling profanities at someone named Tiffany, saying, quote, "You bitch, what's up? What the F is up, bitch? Come see me." It should be noted, there was no one else on the street. So less than a minute into the video recording, a police officer arrives on the scene and politely asks the woman to get out of the car. Now, the car intruder ignores the officer's request and continues hurling abuse at the possibly imaginary Tiffany, telling her, "I'm your bitch." She then turns her attention to the responding cop, declaring, "F you, I'm queen." Seemingly unimpressed by her delusions of grandeur, the officer asks the woman how she ended up in the windshield, but she fails to shed any light on the matter, replying to him, "I don't effing know." Well, then a second officer approaches the scene. The woman admits to doing drugs, but she downplays the crime, saying, quote, "So the F what?" She then resumes hurling obscenities directed at Tiffany. As the officers attempt to get her to get out of the car, the woman switches gears, telling them, "I need my man. I need Benny." Again, there's no one out there named Benny. It was an unexpected twist, but then the woman doubles over onto the hood of the car and breaks down and starts crying. The cops plead with her to just stand up, warning her that she's going to cut herself on the broken glass of the damaged windshield. Eventually, the officers manage to calm the woman down, wrap a towel around her waist to prevent her from getting cut, and they carefully pull her out of the windshield of this poor guy's car. Now, after she does emerge from the car, barefoot, EMS workers who were called to the scene, they assist, and they got her into an awaiting ambulance. The question is, what drug was she on? And I know what you're thinking. Wait, she was on drugs? Yeah, believe it or not, she was on drugs. Was she on crack, meth, PCP, or cocaine? So crack, meth, PCP, or cocaine?
Out of those, I would take PCP, but what do you guys think?
Josh, I'm going to go meth.
So, this guy's awakened.
Right. I don't know what time of the morning it was, but he wakes up because he hears a woman.
Assume it's kind of overnight.
That's what I'm guessing. But he hears a woman screaming, looks out his window, and she's busted out the middle of his windshield, and she's standing in it screaming about this chick, Tiffany.
Right, but she's not screaming in pain. She's still just pissed.
She's just pissed. Yeah. At no point did she express that she was in pain. She's just angry and crazy.
Close enough to DC. I'm going to go PCP.
PCP. Josh, what are you thinking?
Yeah, PCP all the way.
Okay. All right. What was this windshield stomper on? Crack, meth, PCP, or cocaine? We're going to find out next.
That was a tease.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories drugs on Profile this week in Dover, Delaware. And a Delaware man woken up to a woman screaming outside. Somehow, either she had stomped through his windshield.
That's what I'm guessing.
But when he looked out there, it was her torso and head sticking out of his windshield with her legs in the car. Police were called. They tried to calm her down. They did eventually take her to a hospital. Question is, what drug was she on? Crack, meth, PCP, or cocaine?
And Josh, that is the very question we posed to you. Let us start with Miles Montgomery. You went with meth, which, always a safe bet. Someone's acting the fool. And now, Josh, you said PCP from the jump. Right? As soon as I finished the story, you're like, man, I'm thinking PCP. What do you guys think? Ted, you went PCP because it's Dover, Delaware, and you're 100% correct. PCP is still pretty big in that part of the country.
Yeah.
All the way.
And you're right.
And she's screaming at imaginary people and not screaming. Like, I would just think if you're inside of a broken windshield, you'd be in some type of pain.
As best they can tell, she was not.
Damn. Right, and having a full-on argument with Tiffany.
Tiffany, that bitch.
I was just saying, who's definitely a total
Clearly
bitch.
a bitch, yeah. She made that clear.
Now, for all TV news all the time, it is time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Want a louder one.
Yeah. Community. I'll be dead honest. I did not watch a ton of Community.
I never saw it. I was aware of it. I'd heard about it. I heard good things about it. I just never watched it.
Yeah, I might go back and watch it because people swear by it.
Yeah, they really do. And for some reason, I just never, much like your All-American, somehow I just never made it to actually watch the show.
I'm with you. And it's on some streaming service because I know I've seen it.
Was it like 2 or 3 seasons? Was it on longer than that?
No, I want to say it was 4 or 5.
Okay, all right. It's a decent amount.
So, I mean, the cast on there is unreal, right? I mean, you're talking Donald Glover. What's our guy from
McHale?
up here? Yeah, Joe McHale. Like, there's a lot of funny people on that show. One of them was Chevy Chase. Again, full disclosure, I don't know how Mike feels. I know the three of us find Chevy Chase very funny.
Back in the day.
Especially back in the, right. But like, Miles, me and you quote Vacation all the time.
Right.
I was talking about Fletch in The Office, Spies Like Us, the SNL stuff alone.
Caddyshack.
Right. Like, Chevy Chase, when he's good and in his roles, is awesome.
Yeah.
But over the years, you've just found out that he just kind of sucks as a human being.
Yeah. Off script.
So he was on Mark Maron's WTF podcast. Basically, they asked about his stint on Community. Now, listen, there's a lot of news out there, right, that apparently he used the N-word around Donald Glover, that he was getting in fights with other cast members, this and that. He told Mark Maron, he's like, it's just not funny enough for me. I honestly felt the show wasn't funny enough for me, ultimately. I felt a little bit constrained. Everybody had their bits, and I thought they were all good. It just wasn't hard-hitting enough for me.
Yeah, that's why they let you go.
Yeah, like he was always, like, you hear, like, I've heard stories that he would, like, scream at the guy that created the show.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, listen, there's always going to be some ad-libbing, which I think you need and is awesome.
Sure.
Just for actors to do that stuff. But also, like, that's hard to scream at the guy. It's like, well, if he didn't write it, you wouldn't even have this job.
You're not getting paid, right.
Yeah. Anyhow, I just think that's kind of amazing. All the stuff that went on there. Basically, yeah, he's not going to appear on the reunion show. Harmon said he wasn't sure if it was legal for Chase to do so.
Oh, so did they ask him?
Yeah, did they want
They
him?
didn't even ask him.
Right. No. Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to make an appearance. Right, because you weren't invited, man. That's all. You're not going to see me at the Met Gala. You know why? I'm not invited.
Yeah.
It's not some big statement I'm making. I'm not invited there. That's why I won't be there. And a point you made earlier, Ted, is you can hear bad things about anybody, and inevitably, a few people come out of the woodwork to say, man, they're not that bad, or they're misunderstood. Nobody with this guy. No.
Right, I think I was saying that in the office. I was like, I don't care who you are, right? Like, there's going to be a couple people at your job that just don't like you.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But it doesn't seem like any of the past SNL people,
Lord Michaels.
None of those people come out for him. You don't see a lot of the vacation people stick. Like, I don't know anybody that sticks up for him other than he is still funny when he's playing these roles and stuff. But, like, when I hear him say Community wasn't edgy enough for me and you hear the other stories, it doesn't make it better or worse, but it's like, right, he was just using that word around people at work who are black.
Right.
And I'm sure he was just one of those old dudes who was like, well, in my day it was funny. It's like, yeah, all right. Like, they've told you don't say it.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's not that hard, man. It is not that hard.
Right? I mean, wasn't that Michael Richards' whole kind of breakdown when he was like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So. Things did not go well for him after that.
No. He has never shown back up.
He hasn't, has he?
He did an apology on
Well, he went
Letterman,
He went on
maybe?
Letterman right after.
Jerry Seinfeld was on.
Right, but I mean, like, he's never shown. You're right. I don't see him in like movies or anything.
Well, no one's out for him a role. It's not worth it. It's not worth the hassle.
Yeah, that's a. Well, used to be a tough one to live down. You never know.
Right.
Kristen Stewart. She's produced.
She was
Twilight.
Twilight. Thank you. Okay.
Mike, was she a real girl or a vampire?
She a real girl.
No, she was real.
She was real.
She became a vampire in the last one.
See, she was
because she hooked up with a vampire. Yeah,
you gotta be careful.
And not Twilight, but like I feel like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was just because I was a kid. I was like, it seems like vampires were always kind of sexy, and like Poison Ivy was kind of sexy, but it was like, don't let him kiss you.
Right.
It's like, ooh,
try not to be hot. She was hitting on me. Yeah, they made them sexy eventually because originally it was like Nosferatu.
All right.
Like they're monsters, you know what I mean? But they made them sexy over time, gave them things to say, which is weird because, Kristen Stewart's character in Twilight, let me break it down. You go like, you realize she's kind of a necrophiliac or into bestiality. You want the dead guy or do you want the wolf? Weird to me, but whatever, man.
I'd be into a chick that was half werewolf or full werewolf at night.
It's a hairy thing there.
Mm-hmm.
Only when she's wolfing.
Okay. Yeah, wolfing.
Yeah, during the day, she's just a cool, hot chick. And then at night, sometimes, she's got to go do werewolf stuff.
Just don't ask questions.
American Werewolf in London will change your opinion on that, I think.
Right. Well, like that idea, Ted saying, dude, I'm dating this hot chick. Look, just one thing you should know about her. She's also a werewolf.
Yeah. It's all right, though.
Other than that, love sports.
Yeah, she comes back in the morning.
Yeah.
Teen Wolf. It was a nice werewolf.
Yeah. It was a nice werewolf.
Yeah.
I could dunk.
Shoot it, fat boy. So Kristen Stewart just producing a new ghost hunting show. And it's about gay ghost.
No.
It's called Living for the Dead. It features 5 LGBTQ ghost hunters that's exploring supposedly haunted locations around the country. It's from the creators of Queer Eye. I guess maybe they're calling it a gay ghost hunting show, so I guess that counts as the part. I kind of like the idea that they're going out specifically looking for ghosts that are gay.
Huh. Right. In your past life, when you were on this earth, were you gay or straight? Okay, we don't want to talk to you. We don't want to talk. Go away. Go away. Stop slamming doors. We're not here for you.
Yeah. They found a werewolf, and she was like, I'm dating a guy, and they're like, not for our show.
Yep, get out of here. Werewolf lady, you're out.
She said it started as, and I think I talked about this like last year or something. She said it started as a bit of a hypothetical, silly pipe dream. Now I'm so proud to have shepherded something that is as moving and meaningful and truly a gay old time.
Okay.
Living for the Dead will be on Hulu later this month, October 18th. The trailer's just out now if you want to watch that. And like, look, I get it, right? It's like, everybody
goes brothers.
Right.
Right, but it's just dumb because the idea is like, look, if you find this kind of thing fascinating, you wouldn't care who it is. You're like, well, it's always been white guys, let's get some black guys. And I was like, it's always these straight guys, let's get gay guys. Like, it's about the ghost, man. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what you got.
I think representation for a lot of people is important. You know what I mean? Like I always say, when I grew up, right, outside of D.C., I recognize it now, but we were Larry Bird fans. And we loved, something born and raised in a small town. We did not live in a small town.
Yeah, I was going to say, you lived outside of D.C.
Right. We didn't know anything about Boston, but it was just like Larry Bird was shooting jumpers and he was white and we were white. We were like, I guess we'll cheer for him.
What about Jason Sehorn?
Loved him.
Really?
Loved him.
I mean, he's a legend. He's the last starting white quarterback ever. I'm just going to say that now.
Right.
Maybe ever. But I'm saying for as kids, though, right? Like, I mean, granted, we were white kids, so it's not like we had anybody coming down on us. But like, representation is important for little girls, for gay people, black, people of color, anything. It's like, oh yeah, like we could do that too.
I can go hunt ghosts. I want to do something else.
Well, I told you years ago I was at the Globetrotters, and they have a female Globetrotter.
Okay.
And it didn't dawn on me until she took the court, and I mean.
Every girl in there,
every little girl in that arena just went nuts. And I was like, in my head, it just kind of, kind of clicked at that point. I was already 40. I was like, yeah, that does help. They could see somebody in themselves a little bit,
Because they dribble.
Oh, she was awesome. All the Globetrotters are
No, not her. I'm saying all the little girls. Hey, before you cheer, can you play? Can you hoop? Shut up.
I highly recommend.
I'm a ghost, but I'm straight. No, I'm sorry.
Ow.
Yeah, see, that's funnier.
I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah. All we can find is straight ghosts.
Tired of those goddamn straight ghosts.
Who knew the cast was heterosexual?
Ooh, you were murdered, right?
Jimmy Hoffa. Sorry, we don't want to talk to you.
we can't do it.
I have another secret. All right, Jimmy. What do you
You're
got?
back.
I left that one out of the movie, huh?
Oh, no.
Alfonso Ribeiro. We all know him, from hosting a lot of shows. Right?
My kids know him for America's Funniest Home Videos.
Correct. I would know him, of course, for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the Carlson
Well-Air.
Band. Did I say Well-Air?
You said Well-Air.
Well-Air. Bel-Air.
Well, they're pretty well off.
That's kind of the thing.
Dancing with the
Carlton.
Stars, yeah.
Yeah, he's been on a bunch of stuff.
Also, a great golfer. And he always plays in the Pebble Beach Celebrity Pro-Am, does very well. I think he won it one year.
Yeah. And I like that he always does the dance.
Which is on
He
request.
doesn't shy away from it.
No, he easily
It's your
could.
moneymaker, dude. Why not?
But I mean, he's made a nice ton of money after. But I'm just saying, he's golfing. It wouldn't be that hard for him to just be like, "Hey, this year, can you not ask me to do the dance?" He does it every time.
Yeah.
And look, for somebody like me in my 40s, I loved that show. Look, so I'm like, "Oh man, you did the dance. That's awesome." He said he got a concussion during his son's Little League game. He was on with Kelly and Mark, live with Kelly and Mark. I was standing off to the side. I'm putting someone's number in my phone. Attaboy. And boom, ball to the back of my head.
Ooh.
Right in the back. He said he went down immediately. It wasn't right for days. Said, quote, for like 3 or 4 days. I'm like, huh? What? My wife seems to think it was just me saying I don't want to do nothing around the house. It wasn't that. It was a good hit. Look, I don't care if it's a 4-year-old, right? If they peg a baseball and hit you in the back of the head, you probably have a concussion.
Oh, yeah. Very good chance.
Yeah, and he's just standing there watching the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's funny.
I believe him.
Yeah, I always say that's like getting hit with baseballs is the tough part about getting younger kids into baseball because there's a lot of standing around in baseball, and then the action happens quick, and somebody gets pegged with a ball. Now they don't want to play anymore. Or like Miles is, and he's right. He's always like, hey, tell those people to get an L screen if they're going to go out there and pitch.
Yeah.
I remember same thing, 11, 12 playing baseball. Somebody's dad was like, let's just get some BP in for the game. Took a liner right off his nose, broke his glasses.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just wild. But it's a great sport to play growing up and everything, but it's just a little
also
tougher.
hurts. Like football hurts. Baseball does too. You keep your head down on ground balls in the infield. You stay in front of the ball. Catcher blocks the ball, drops down, one in the dirt. You get hit by a pitch. There's a lot of instances where you just take a ball and it hurts. It just hurts.
Yeah, you're at practice. There's a play at third base. You're not the cutoff man, and you're not in on that play, and your right fielder just throws it at you as your back's turned.
Right.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it hurt like hell. I still remember it. Hard deep. That's who hit me.
Damn, man, I got a cold now?
It's all right. He doesn't listen. All right. I don't think he would even know what it is.
Right.
There's a couple shows on tonight you're to find interesting. I will talk about this more tomorrow. Yesterday I was talking about how the writers had come to an agreement.
Yeah.
By Monday night, if you're a fan of any of the late night shows, they will all be back Monday.
Okay.
I'll have a little more info on that, but I saw this morning Fallon was like, I'm coming back. And if you host a late night show, seems to be some agreement. You almost always take vacation at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's why once I saw Fallon was coming back, I'm like, oh, they're all going to be back on Monday.
Back.
And I don't know, it was Miles or Thurl. One of you said, they should have a lot of good jokes.
I think they will.
Yeah, between the strike and missing a whole summer, there's got to be some material in there. David Spade, I love that guy. He's hosting a new show called Snake Oil on Fox tonight. Basically, it's a game show where celebrities help people find out of a product or pitches or real ventures. Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. Also, that's at 9 over on ABC. Melissa Villasenor.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Brandon Hunt, Coach Beard, and then Joe Buck.
All right,
there you go.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Massachusetts DoorDash driver follows his GPS into a pond
With a delivery of Dunkin' Donuts.
A burglar stumbles into a hotel bleeding from attempted break-in owner's cuts. Bobcat stolen Pittsburgh goes on joyride with 10-year-old kid at the wheel. Florida man climbs on top of a rescue vehicle and dancing is his deal. And a Florida woman borrows an alligator for a photo shoot, then leaves it in her bathtub. It's time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
Top story, we got a New Hampshire where a man looked to be in distress. Multiple witnesses called authorities after the man walked into a local hotel sporting several stab wounds on his body. Luckily, authorities arrived in short order and began an investigation, which didn't last long. Turned out the man earned himself those stab wounds after an attempted break-in went horribly wrong. He had broken into a nearby apartment and assaulted the resident inside, who then defended themselves by grabbing a knife. And he's now facing charges.
All right.
I like that move, too. You just get stabbed the world over after you break into somebody's place. Then you just go stumble into the local hotel.
Yeah.
Somebody call the police. Been stabbed.
Granted, I broke into their house, but still.
Right. Moron. Meanwhile, strange story in Florida, of all places, Ted.
All right.
Local authorities were dispatched to conduct a rescue at an intersection, which is where they found our man. The story goes that the man scaled one of the rescue vehicles and began putting on a show for authorities, dancing on top of the truck and ignoring police orders to come down. 10 officers on the scene were eventually able to get him off the vehicle, and they also noted that he appeared to be smoking something, though they don't verify what. He's been taken in for a mental evaluation.
Smoking something says, that's not a cigarette.
That's exactly what that means.
You know what I mean? Also, like Miles always says, you don't see people smoke tobacco out of pipes.
Correct. No, not really.
No. Correct.
Well, like an actual pipe.
Right.
But I'm just thinking, like, if you see somebody with a glass pipe, like, okay, you're smoking
tobacco. Glass
or a
pipe.
crack, right, or a crack pipe. Like, all right, you're not taking a hit of tobacco.
And there was a severe lack of information when it came to reading this article. Like, they didn't say if they were rescuing him, and if so, what he was involved in, or what he was trapped in. They just said that they were there at the intersection, and that he just climbed up on the truck.
It is a very loose story.
It is. Oh, well. Let's go to Pittsburgh, where someone's living the dream. Residents of a local neighborhood rushed to the windows and streets after hearing several crashing and scratching noises that they discovered to come from a piece of construction equipment that was barreling down the street. A Bobcat construction vehicle that had been taken off of a local site. The rig smashed its way down the street and eventually came to a stop after attempting to traverse a nearby hill, which is where residents and authorities discovered the driver, a local 10-year-old boy that had hijacked the equipment. No word on if charges will be filed, but there's plenty of damage to be answered for. Which,
yeah,
I feel like I know exactly what happened. Unless that there's something actually nefarious going on. This kid found a nice piece of construction equipment, did what all of us honestly want to do and fire the thing up and let's go smash some things real fast.
I agree.
Especially if the keys were in it.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's... And look, we don't know, but yeah, I'm very confident that that's exactly what happened.
Right. And then the problem is, it's like the parents didn't do it. Obviously, they do need to be the ones that answer for their stupid kids' stupid things, but it's like... Damn it. Charges. We don't know if charges are going to be filed. It's a 10-year-old kid that's doing it.
He's 10.
Right. I mean, that's one of those ones, years from now, will be super funny.
Sure. Oh, right now it's not, but yes, you're
everybody involved. Like,
Let me tell you about this knucklehead.
Yeah, when he was 10, he stole a Bobcat. That just sounds cool.
It does.
Stole a Bobcat. Yeah. Damn. Once more, we find ourselves in Florida for a strange story. A woman had concluded a day at a local reptile park and alligator farm and managed to leave with a key in her possession, though it also, yet again, doesn't detail why she had a key in her possession, but she did. Sneaking onto the facility before it opened, she left the premises with a baby gator in her arms, which she took back to a nearby hotel. She then used the reptile for a birthday photo shoot and as the conversation piece for their 5-day celebration, housing the animal in the hotel bathtub. It was eventually rescued and returned to the farm, and the woman is facing charges.
Okay. Yeah.
Why?
That's such an odd thing to be arrested.
Leave it in the bathtub. It'll be fine.
It'd be cool, man.
Just take it back.
Like, they even said it was cold to the touch. Like, she obviously had zero idea what it was to have this thing. For whatever reason, she just wanted a gator. Which, side note, gators, kind of cool from way over there. Why in the world do you want a gator so bad that you're going to walk out with one?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I knew a guy that had a little caiman. It was pretty cool to watch that thing.
Okay. I wouldn't. But you know what? That's just me. And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Lovely Taryn Daly's in. We'll see you next time for the return of Big Dummy. And the head chef is back with Ted's Meat and Potatoes.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.